Greetings, gamers, and welcome to the 187th live stream from the Misfit Gamer Studios. I am your host, Vortex, and this is D&D Discussions. On today's episode, we have a new two-creature encounter submitted by SuperFoxer. This one is going to be based off of characters from a very old PS1 game, Chrono Trigger. No, Chrono Cross. No, yes. I just looked it up.
Trigger.
Yes, it is Chrono Trigger. Yes, the old PS1 game, Chrono Trigger. I always get those two confused. It's been a long time since I played them.
I feel like they're part of the same universe, so it makes a lot of sense.
I mean, one's a sequel to the other.
Yeah. It's basically like Final Fantasy, and they got all different casts.
Yes. So this one is the SNES game, and then Chrono Cross is the PS1 game, which was a sequel.
Got you.
There we go. Yes. So join us as we take a look at this two-creature encounter and figure out what it has in store for us. Yeah, I'm really fascinated to see what exactly this is, because we haven't had a lot of encounters, like boss battles yet.
This has been a new, I don't want to say trend, but like a new thing coming in that we've been having is more like encounter-like submissions, you know? And so I'm kind of excited to see what this ends up looking like.
Absolutely. Hey, how's it going, Hoylepa? Nice to see you.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm fascinated to see what this does too. I want to see if there's going to be anything that I remember. Oh my god, we got a bit! Woohoo!
Biddies!
Yeah, I'm curious to see how much I remember, because I was talking with Vixie about this before stream, trying to figure out what I even remember. She's a huge fan of Chrono Cross. That was her favorite game from way back when.
Okay.
And I remember playing both. So that's really going to be difficult to see if I have any recollection of these, but
okay.
I don't have any like on tap memory.
Sure.
So we will keep in mind that it is going to be that, that relationship between, an actual like an IP. It's already an existing IP, so we will take that into account. But we will be treating this as an encounter. So there are two creatures, and there's a set of techniques that will be involved. So we'll treat all of that as one submission. And I think you had mentioned that this is like a series, right? From SuperFoxer, this is like a tournament series, right?
Yes. I don't know if it's exactly a tournament, but I know that these are like the first of several encounters leading up to a larger boss battle. And correct me if I'm wrong, Fox.
And I think that you said that the first one we did, the Magus,
yes.
That was the final.
That was the end of the line.
It will be the end of the line. Gotcha.
Correct.
Okay. Do we know which one this is?
I believe this is the first in the line.
Okay, so we got the last and then we got the first.
Yes, so, and I believe the way I understand it, moving forward, they should be in order. Like, this will be first, and the next will be second, and then after that will be the third, and then finally, Magus would have been the fourth.
Gotcha. Is that actually better? No, that's a little bit better. I'm usually like sitting much lower, but I've changed the cameras around since I brought everything back in from the tavern, so I'm just trying to figure out what's better. But I'm actually centered more this way, so actually this not allowing me to go underneath anymore will probably be better for camera.
Okay.
So yeah, so we'll just do that, and I'm a little bit
legit
more in the camera.
Let's see.
All right, so yeah, I have no idea how much I'm gonna remember from this.
I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't think I ever got a chance to play these games myself. I know that I watched a bunch of my friends play back in the day. I also know I've seen like media of it on like YouTube and things of that nature, but like the familiarity that I have is very not personal. So we'll see what I get out of it, but that's kind of why I'm excited. I actually had a nice little conversation with Foxer about this, going back and forth about some of the details about this submission, and I'm kind of super excited to see how this plays out, because a lot of the bits and pieces that I have seen seem incredibly interesting. So
only kind of super excited. By the way, if you'll have noticed, other than me fighting with my that's right,
microphone.
One thing that y'all may have noticed is that we do finally have the sub wall up. I don't have it hung just yet. It will be, so eventually it'll be somewhere like here, give or take. Like,
Oh,
actually
okay.
hung on the wall. I just haven't.
So you could see it up behind
I just
you
haven't
over your
gotten my
shoulder.
step finder and gotten that up, but I at least wanted this up here. So moving forward, anybody that subs, moving forward, will get their name up here. Our subathon subbers will have all the biggest names, and then future subbers will just get smaller and smaller
Sure.
until that basically is full.
Nice. We love it, you guys.
So I'm really liking the idea for this. I'm happy that I got it, and the subathon was a lot of fun. I was really.
No, I'm super stoked we got to do that for sure.
And one thing that we have to do as well, so keep an eye out if Hecate pops into chat. We have to pause real quick because they've reached the 12-month subscription mark. So Hecate has been subscribed to us since the beginning, since our very first month that we were an affiliate. They've given us their Prime subscription for 12 straight months. So
that's amazing.
Since Hecate's up here on the sub wall, what I was going to do to kind of highlight that, since
cool.
they've kind of been in the lead, is I was going to allow them to choose a second color, and then I was going to go over their
kind of
name
like highlight their name
and give it like an extra highlight,
like a nice little depth. Oh, that's kind of cool.
So we can just, because if this is going to kind of be one of those things that we continue doing, Hecate hit the the 1 year mark, so I can put like a little highlight. When Soul makes 12 months,
Sure.
Soul will get a highlight, so we can just keep building upon it. And if they do anything else, we can just add
little embossings or whatever. That's kind of cool.
Like a 3D effect. Exactly. Yeah, I was kind of thinking of doing like not like fully around all of the letters, but just kind of like doing one of those things where like up and to the right of all the lines there'll be a different color, so it kind of looks like up and behind. Yeah.
No, I got you.
All right, take it easy, Huilipa. Have a good night.
Deuces.
Thank you for showing up. But yeah, so that's what's going to happen here, is that we'll just keep embellishing it as more and more things. Like obviously, Kage got a big embellishment because mod and co-host. I mean, I don't know. We might eventually have to get rid of that if we lose space.
It's fair enough.
But I mean, you co-host. Like, I mean, you that's your badge, right? You get like a little bit of a badge.
It's my standard. Every time I do a signature of sorts, that's my boy.
And I could have signed it, but it doesn't really. I mean, I'm not really a sub, but plus it's my artwork in the middle. So it's like I come up with the logo. It's fine with me.
Center.
But yeah. So if you see Hecate, let me know if I don't see them first, and then we will get them, because we tried to do it over the weekend. They were watching, but they just like they were there, but they weren't. They were lurking, so they just never really chose a color. So yeah, they just have to choose a color wherever those are, wherever they went off.
Oh, where are they?
They're probably in the other room. Honestly, I probably left them either in the kitchen or in the tavern, but we'll get that.
We'll get it.
All right. Anyway, so I think everybody is here. SuperFoxer's here, so we can go ahead and begin, I guess. Excuse me. Also, update for Soul and Nugget. I was able to box up your giveaway gifts from the subathon, so they are in boxes. Everything's ready to go. I just have to go to, I guess, DPS or USPS, get labels, and they will be out. So I do plan on doing that tomorrow. So they should be out and shipped tomorrow. Hopefully you should get them by the end of the week.
Sweet. Dope.
All right. Oh, and these are encounters for level 15. What's up? Oh, hey, Hecate. Hey, look at that. Hecate just arrived.
Of the devil.
We were just talking about you, Hecate. Just a second. I got to go get the colors now.
Yes. I will give you a quick, very brief rundown, Hecate. We need you to pick a second color for your signature on the board. Hold on 1 sec. Hopefully you can see that a little bit better. Of course, the microphone's in the way. Anyways, so Vortex, because of your consistency with us, all the way 12 months since the day we got affiliate, he wants to add a nice second color to your signature. So he wants you to choose what the other. Now I don't know what the colors are, so that's I'm assuming what he's running to go grab. Yeah, choose the second color. Let's see what you got. Speak of the Hecate. That's facts. BEA beautiful. Oh, nice. 8 little colors to choose from. We got some reds, some yellows, some blues, white. What is that? Red.
You're already in purple, Hecate. Your name was already written in purple. You have to choose a highlight color.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so can't choose purple. Here, how about that?
Although it is wild, like with that color flashing, like it literally changes colors. Like it looks like it's orange, blue, and purple. Let's go green. Pink. Okay. Purple to pink. BEA beautiful. I like it. I like it.
All right, and then I will get my phone set up here so we can get you a close up once I'm done.
Because it's clear purple, wild, absolutely wild. Oh, fair enough. True that. I'm having. Oh, finally! I've been having technical difficulties all day. Oh, I can't even do that. No. Oop. Boom, boom, 3. And then would be. Where's my brain? That's what it was. Let's see. Beautiful. We love that. Okay.
How's that look?
Oh, that is cool.
Does it work the way I thought it should?
I think it does. From here, it does.
Chat, can you even see that?
Hold on, let me see it. Let me see from it is kind of hard to see from chat's perspective.
Hang on. Yeah, does that look a little bit better? So this is what it looks like now, and then that's what it looks like.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Nice. See, there it is. That looks clean.
Not perfect with it. I think that's what it looks like. I think I needed the H. I think that's the problem. I think I also need to get it.
Maybe just on the bottom leg. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. That's fine.
Clean. Okay.
Wait. I knew it looked weird for some reason, and I couldn't figure out why. Are we happy with it?
I like it. I like it.
All right, everybody seems to like it. All right, everybody. So that's what you get when you get. You can sub to get on the wall, but that's what you get after 12 months. You get a name hide. You are subscribed for 12 months, and we'll figure out as we go other frills and specialties that we can add to names as.
Why do I want the old comic book POW highlight? That
we can do one of those. Absolutely, we could do underscores.
Okay,
like underlining. We could do like little just like explodies like around
Yep.
Like the eye, like around your eye or whatever. Like I don't know. We could do things depending upon how we want to celebrate people. Cool. Congratulations, Hecate. Boom. There you go. You are now permanently on the wall.
On the wall.
I do like this. I'm very happy with getting this. We don't show it because it's black. So funny enough that you mentioned that. So if you head over to the XP rewards, which are the channel points down below in chat, and you scroll all the way down, you will see a blacked out reward. It's called Bio Unlock, and it's for 15,000. And if you get 15,000 channel points or XP and you buy that, you can unlock one of those right there. You can unlock one of those, which would unlock for both of us, and we'll add it permanently to our bio down below, and then to the bios that we'll have on the website.
Yep.
When we get the website up and running, we'll have bios on there, which will also get unlocked as we go. Yes, side quests, exactly.
Big fucking thing.
So as people find out and as viewers find out more about us, the bios will unlock. The favorites, the top ones, will be displayed, or at least the most recent ones that have been unlocked will be displayed down here, and then all of the permanent ones will be on the website. But yeah, it'll basically be, these are just examples, right? So I just put a couple of these as things that people might ask for, but these are not what you have to choose from. It just has to be stream appropriate.
Sure.
And, nothing like private life. Like,
sure. Exactly.
Addresses, government names, things of that sort. But outside of that, if you have something that you really want to know, or just something that you think would be an interesting thing to have unlocked on our bio, that's going to be it. And
yeah, I really like that.
And then in the future, like subathons and stuff like that, those prices would be cheaper, perhaps, or something like that. But yeah, so funny that you mentioned that, but that's just kind of been down there the whole time until we decide how to fill it out. Aha. I see where you're getting at.
Wild. Wild.
I wonder, huh? Good try. But will you pass your perception check? I don't know. Failed deception, but we'll see if perception,
right,
is figured out. All right, so as we move forward, everything's good. Okay, so I think we have everybody here that we need. We got the board updated, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. We can begin. I use black on most streams. Do I use black on most streams?
Black? Like what?
I guess background. I mean, just because we don't have a background yet.
Yeah, but that's just... I would say that's kind of standard.
It might be kind of standard. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway. It's time for a review, isn't it?
It is definitely time for a review. Indubitably.
Review time. Nah. I like that one better. All right. So, review time. I guess we will start here. We have 2 characters as part of an encounter, and then we have some techniques. So we will be doing all of those. Hecate, what up? Finally, as we were just talking about it, Hecate has been working up for this for a minute now.
Oh, we have one.
Yeah.
Ooh, fantastic.
I'm actually surprised. I could have sworn that came with a text requirement. Hold on. Did it not? I might have to update that if it doesn't.
Oh, so it like displays what the requesting?
Yeah, it's supposed to be an unlock, and then they're supposed to be able to type in it. So let me double check that. I need to figure out why that didn't work. But now we got to figure out what Hecate wants to know.
Oh, yes, I'm very excited. I remember them giving us a taste of what they might ask. I think it was during the subathon we were talking about that.
I think so. Let me find out what's going on.
Yes.
Power-ups and channel points.
Hecate, you've been saving up.
Bio unlock require. Oh, there we go. Required to put in text. That's what it was missing. All right. Well.
Next time.
Let's see. It's still the same element question, huh?
So that's what we were talking about during it was what's your favorite element, and then we got into the whole discussion about what counts as an element.
Oh,
and then
gotcha.
We started talking.
Gotcha.
I don't know how much clarity you got on.
I got enough clarity to understand the gist of it. So I'm going to dig into the...
And this is unlocked for both of us?
Yeah, so we both have to discuss. All right, so... So the actual one, this is just like all expanded concepts of elements, not like the basic four. This is just your favorite.
You could even call it almost like an idea.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
interesting. I haven't actually thought about it since we talked about it, so I've never, you know what I mean? Like, it's such a like I have to kind of like, it's such a bigger. It's not something I usually think about when you think about the vastness of what this could mean.
Yes.
So if you have something to say, then you can go ahead first and answer yours.
I will. I'm gonna basically talk myself through what I think of when I hear this question, because for me, a lot of the times I look at this when I think of like elements. I think of like what I would either want to interact with. Like if I were looking at myself as like a character of some sort, like what I would want to interact with, what I would want to be enveloped in, what I would want to be able to manipulate, like the aesthetic almost, you know, like the energy, the vibe that I can see myself, you know, connecting with on an idyllic level, you know. And from my perspective, even someone on a symbolic level, right? Because I think that there's a lot to that. I'm having kind of like a split mindset right now. And my initial thought process, obviously because it's in my name and it's who I am, is shadow, right? Like just like the element of like darkness and like inky blackness. They can sneak around, being able to like move through shadows, things of that nature, but also this weird element of like the power cosmic and space, and like almost being able to like the idea of like the space stone, being able to move from one place to the other, being able to, you know, this just having these like otherworldly abilities, powers, and elements. You know, I think a lot of the fight scenes that I've seen in Mob Psycho, and it just looks like this like cosmic reality is coming down to just like do all kinds of wonder. So it's very intriguing, this question for me, just because that's just kind of like the imagination the rabbit trail my brain goes off into when I think about what type of element that I would want to I don't know what the right word is, like embody. Like, although I do know and I do understand that shadow comes with a, generally speaking, very negative connotation, and that might not be something that I particularly want to align myself with. But at the same time, I recognize that there is a lot in this world that is misunderstood, and I believe that this is very possibly a part of that. You know, even Batman, although I feel like Batman goes that direction because he wants to feel like he's dark and death and all that extra stuff. Like, but my idea is more like there is a light inside of the darkness, hidden in the darkness, that is to be found if you dig deep enough. And so it would weirdly almost be like a combination of like seeing like a singular star point like in the depths of like all this shadow and darkness around you. So I'll have to come up with a more clear answer than that by the end of this, but those are my initial thoughts.
So are we just going with shadow for you? I mean, like I mean, just trying to like, I mean, how do we conceptualize that into something for the bio?
I feel like shadow would be the easiest way to represent that. Like, just, well, I should call it cosmic shadow. But no, like ooh. I keep thinking of the concept of dark matter. When you hear the word dark matter, what does that mean? What comes to your mind?
A lot. I mean, but I'm very steeped in like and up to date with like scientific literature, so it means a lot to me. Like, there's no, that doesn't boil down to anything simple, but
there is a specific definition of what dark matter is.
No.
Wild. Okay.
I mean, it's a theoretical idea that we have evidence for, but we don't know what it is or how it is. It just, we can see its effects, but we can't understand or see it itself.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it would be almost yeah, I don't know how else.
See,
yeah,
I mean, the way you talk about it sounds somewhat realistic, but yeah, I don't know. I'll put it this way: I don't know enough about it to be able to draw the similes to say that that would qualify as what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So with, okay, because you're trying to say it's more than just like the absence of light, right? It's not just like the concept of the absence of light. But when you mean like on a where you were trying to align it to in a cosmic scale.
Yeah, like the closest thing I can kind of get to is like a wormhole or a black hole or something like that. Like this idea that it is more than just earthly elements. It's almost like this, not necessarily godlike, like, oh, you're like divine, but like this cosmic level. Like, you think of like X-Men and like the cosmic level mutants or whatever they're called, you know, like cosmic level entities that are out there that are able to like do these like really big things. Like, again, I don't know exactly how you would embody that in a singular element. Like, you remember your Fortnite skin?
Mm-hmm.
Just like imagine that, and like if you were to articulate that as an element.
I think, I mean,
That's,
I mean, because that makes me even more confused on what the question is, because like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to even go about, like, I get the concept you're going for, but I don't know if that in my mind would equate to being able to call that an element. And if that's,
and I agree.
So
it's
yeah, so I don't know. We might need a better like question then, other than like, I mean, or we just need a more like
narrow,
just a better understanding of what you mean by that. Because yeah, that I don't know if that's an answer that, I mean, Hecate, you got to tell us, was that an answer that, because I need to be able to put something on the bio.
Sure.
But is that even an answer that you were looking for?
If I put that down, would you be like, I get what you mean, and like that makes sense to me? If I were to put something down,
because I mean, you're talking about like on a cosmic scale of like what, creation, like, so just pure energy,
not.
Because like the idea of cosmic scale creation and gods is basically like a nebula of stars, which is like essentially it's either gravity or that's pure energy, or you're talking about plasma. Like at that stages, those are the things that come to mind. But if you're just saying like you want to be part of the shadow, but also be a god that creates things, but it's also just a mortal that sees the but there's not really. We need something more tangible of like, what does that mean? That's not an element. That's a state of mind. Like
it. Think of Dr. Manhattan. Like,
but godhood isn't an element.
Again, like it's not what he can do. Cause like when you think about it, it's not like it's
like you're asking for the element of creation, like the thing that creates everything. So you want to be like what, the Higgs boson, like the things that give matter, like because I mean realistically, like that's what Dr. Manhattan is. He is a being of intelligence. Like, is intelligence what you're talking about? Do you just want to be? Are you talking about being like a being of thought or a being of intelligence, like a spirit of intelligence, like Bob the Skull from the Dresden Files?
No, it's.
Because again, when it comes to elements, like we weren't talking about just like the main four, but we were talking about things like, lightning can be an element, and a shadow can be an element. But I'm trying to reel you back in from an answer, because it sounds like you went full send into almost like what you would want to be as a god or as the representation of something. But I'm not quite following what you like. I understand that it might be hard to put into words, but nothing it's not
necessarily hitting the mark that we're trying to hit.
It's not just that, it's none of them are making the same picture. You know what I mean? Like if you were trying to say like you were saying shadow, but not the shadow from light not passing through an object, we can talk about those kind of things. But the way that none of the things that you have a obvious way to connect to each other. So we're trying to find a central point.
Yes.
Because the element would mean that all of these has something to relate to each other. Right. So how do they all relate in a way that
and here's the problem. Like I understand, and it is going to be very difficult for me to, because I haven't fully fleshed out, the mindset. Like what the picture that I have in my head is, it's literally just that, it's a picture. And so it's like my job to interpret that picture into like words to like communicate in a way that you guys understand. So that's the part that I haven't figured out exactly what it looks like yet.
And it may just be that you may have to redefine what you think the answer to this question of element is, because it may be that you're reaching to define something that isn't for this question.
That could be very true.
Because I'm still struggling to figure out, because I'm like, I have ideas, but a favorite, right? One that like speaks to me. And I know SuperFoxer, it's super early for you. We will have the VOD available, but I don't want to like, I don't want to hold you up here too long, but I do want to get to this because Hecate's been holding this for a minute. So it's the element that you would embody if you can control it or have powers. So Kage went full god mode. Yeah. So this is more of like, so would you say this is more akin to like an elemental superpower? Like what would your elemental superpower be? And then you can kind of expand it out. Not your favorite element, but
sure.
What your elemental superpower, what you could control would be. I mean, that I could understand a little bit more.
I would, yeah. I would probably, for the simplicity's sake and for also time's sake, I am going to narrow my focus to basically the idea of shadow. I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna take it basic. I'm gonna take it simple, right? Like, the dude named Neji from Naruto.
Oh, I have no idea.
One of the Naruto kids, he's got this ability, like anyone who like steps on his shadow, he almost can control them like a puppet type deal. And so like there's like,
oh, that's interesting.
There's like weird different things that he can do to manipulate his shadow. He can also like sink and disappear into his shadow and come
okay,
out
so he has full like shadow manipulation.
It's super wild. Like he was able to like do some crazy stuff with it. So like I loved that concept when I first saw it, and like being able to like move around and do things of that nature, and like, you know, maybe have like a little shadow pocket dimension or whatever that you can like, you know, summon stuff out of. But like just that whole concept I find absolutely fascinating. So
okay,
I think that's a great simplistic way to start.
I think okay, so a little bit more down to like a superpower. I think that helps a lot more.
Elemental ability.
Okay, so we'll start there. I think we'll start there. And then I will. Okay, so for me, so like what I would be able to control, yeah, because I was going kind of the direction you were, but less God mode, more philosophical.
Sure.
Because my first initial thought, kind of like what you were going with, is like, what's, you know, if it's not just the 4 elements, what kind of like other element would I really consider? And one thing that I've always liked in like my philosophies is how in Taoism they talk about like how important the void actually is, the void of things, right? Like how necessary and how useful. Like you think that you use, like they would say proverbs and basically talk about how you have a cup, but it's not the cup that you use, it's the empty space inside of it. You build a house, but it's the empty space inside that you occupy. Right? Like that concept of the more you peel back, the lack of something is actually what we use more than the thing itself. It's the emptiness it creates within itself. Sure. So when I was thinking this kind of like higher level element, void's usually kind of an interesting one, because you think about that's really where, you know, a lot of that, like the usefulness happens, right? But that's not really something controllable. So bringing that back down, right? In terms of like something that I would be able to like control and manipulate, that's really difficult, because that's super difficult. But honestly, again, it's one of those things where we're talking about like real world, because there's a bunch of things you'd want to do in certain fictional worlds, but like, right, you know, like controlling light would be really cool, but
sure.
But really, that's only really good for doing nefarious things or trying to get away from somebody that you want. There's not really a lot of benefits. I mean, you might be able to do minor illusions, because you can basically set them see anything you want with control of light, but there's only so much that you can do. But then again, if you're that good at it, you could never be you could basically be a human displacer beast, never be standing where they think you are. And at that point, as long as it's always on, you could always be like 1 foot to the right. So like, you know, there's some weird, like, but then again, what kind of life do I live that's going to be useful every single day? Right now, we can talk about controlling electricity, but are we talking about like, I can just raise and lower electricity, or can I like interface with my computer, you know, without touching it? Like,
I feel like that's
much more modern.
That's open. Like if that's a part of what you're talking about, I feel like that is very viable, because you know, there's plenty of examples in you know, our fantasy media that depicts stuff like that.
Exactly. So that's where it just comes down to that whole, once you identify what you mean by element. But I think I would go more natural, just naturally for me, I would go much more of a natural, like a power, right? So technology aside, that's rough. That's a rough one. Okay, so for most general cases, depending on how but we're talking about superpower, right? So we'll talk about like minute to massive control, right? Depending on the situation. I think I think honestly, if we're just talking about elemental superpowers, yeah, I would go with temperature control.
Wild.
Just
that's fire.
It's honestly, in the real world, it's the best superpower because it's the most beneficial in the most standard everyday ways. Like it, if we're expanding it from the minute to the big, I could boil water.
Yeah.
I could boil water instantaneously.
Yeah.
I could just be like, here's my water. We're boiling, throw in my pasta. I could use it cooking. I could get my drinks always to the temperature I want. I would always be comfortable in I could make nearby people comfortable.
Your computer would never overheat.
My computer would never, I could go camping and we wouldn't have to have a fire, but everyone near me could be warm if I could control the area. And then even in the worst case scenarios, I can make someone extremely cold, which makes them really slow. You know what I mean? Like temperature control, being able to shift the actual temperature of items, objects, myself, or the general environment around me.
Kill somebody from shock from changing their temperature too quickly?
Yeah. So if we're talking about like actually controlling the elements, temperature, if we're going beyond the actual base elements, temperature would be my real world element, because again, flying's nice, invisibility is only if you're really a pervert or a super criminal. Like now, granted, we're talking about like teleportation isn't an element, so we're not talking about superpowers, right?
Yes.
Because teleportation, let's face it, is the only superpower to have.
That's exactly my thought.
In this real world, teleportation's the only fucking superpower to have.
100%.
Okay, because in the real world, any other superpower is either way too obvious, way too impractical, or you're living in a fantasy world that you think you're going to become Superman. No, if you want to be low key about it and be able to, like, the only way you're going to survive is be able to teleport. Because guess what? Even if someone sees you do it, I can be on the other side of the planet and you will never fucking find me. Like, think about the time, like, think about your neighbors. How often, like, does a neighbor move and you never see them again? If I could teleport, I could just move states. You would never see me again. And then be the guy that says, I saw someone teleport once.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. And so teleportation is the only superpower that you have. But
I love teleportation.
But when we're talking about elemental control, I'm going to go with temperature manipulation. Because I'm assuming that
really
as
like
a superpower, we're talking about massive scales. I can do it to myself, like my body temp. I can do it to my immediate surroundings and like maybe like an environmental effect. I can do it to a specific object. I'm thinking that level of that's going to be super beneficial. Why not water manipulation at that point? Wait, for who? For me?
Why not matter manipulation?
I choose mana if I'm doing element as a science, uranium. If element is in nature, plasma. I mean, yeah. I'm not sure who you meant, SuperFoxer, by why not just do water manipulation at that point. But
I think that says, doesn't that say matter?
Oh, matter. Oh, I completely flipped that
I know,
up.
right?
But yeah, matter manipulation. So matter manipulation, I again don't see as an element. So that would be more of a superpower.
Sure.
And matter manipulation is a lot more fine-tuned and fine-controlled. Yes, you can get the same effect off, but it definitely broadens the scope of what that actually means.
Yeah.
I mean, matter manipulation basically means that you are the chick from the evil wizard chick from Doctor Strange, the finger lady.
Oh,
or from Dr. Pull and Wolverine, you know, the lady who puts her fingers in people.
Xavier's younger sister or whatever.
That's basically matter manipulation. Like, that's not what really, like matter manipulation would be so almost intensive because you're trying, like, I feel like just the basic of an element when we're trying to talk about like the expansiveness of just beyond the four elements, I think temperature is the closest I could get to an element that I could define.
That makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, it would be very akin to matter manipulation for sure.
Okay.
What was this? So I hope that was a good little side tangent and a good answer finally, Hecate, that you finally got.
Woo woo! Thank you, Hecate. We got our first bio unlock.
I'll make it the same as yours, just so we can keep it consistent. So there we are. There we are, right at the very top. There you all go. Let me double check, make sure it looks good. Host, DM of High Point, host, DM of Cineverse. Oh, there's an extra space there. There's supposed to be an extra space there. And then the very first one, elemental superpower, shadow manipulation, and temperature manipulation. Congratulations. You all finally got the very first bio unlock.
Woohoo!
I'm excited. I'm just excited that it finally got used. You know, like it's always nice to know that the things that we add are interesting to people. So let's do a little bit of a party in chat. Ooh.
Party.
Okay, now we can finally get to... Oh yeah, at the 1 hour mark, we can finally move on to our review. Okay, so we will do a quick little YouTube intro just in case this does become a video, but I haven't done videos in a while just because it's too difficult, take too much time, and they're really just not... They're not worth it for me because it's not a passion project. I want to do videos. I know we have to do videos, but it is not a passion. I tried to do it. What was that for? Like 2 months, and I just...
No, you had a good run. You had a good run.
I just, yeah, it's just I'm not there for it. So.
It'll take a lot out of you. That is for sure.
But we still want to do intros just in case. So, when you hear "Greetings, gamers," feel free to spam "Hi YouTube" in chat for the intro. Let's see. So we are going to be doing a two creature encounter based off of Chrono Trigger. Two creature encounter, Chrono Trigger, and okay. All right. What happened to ChillHop? ChillHop keeps fucking up tonight. Why ChillHop?
Every time.
Jesus. Okay. Here we go. Two creature encounter. Greetings, gamers, and welcome back to another homebrew review from the Misfit Gamer Studios. I am your host, Vortex. That gentleman over there is your co-host, Kage, and this is another homebrew review coming from SuperFoxer. We have a two-creature encounter based off the SNES Classic Chrono Trigger. So join us today as we find out exactly what these two creatures do, and I hear that they have a dual technique that they can do together. Let's find out what that can do. Join us today as we figure out what happens when you bring Chrono Trigger into D&D. Okay, not bad, not bad.
Dope.
I didn't have the right thumbnail. I was technically supposed to have that thumbnail right there, but you know what I can do?
That's fair enough.
Well, so if you remember back when we did the subclass showdown, I messed up at that point as well. And at the very end, I didn't show, or no, it was one of the builds that we did, but I basically didn't show like the last half of what we were talking about. I actually wasn't showing it properly.
Oh, got you.
But I was able to edit the video and pop it at the bottom. So I will be able to just quickly edit that out. So no big deal. No big deal. Why do you...
That's actually kind of cool.
Texting me. Okay, that's perfect too. All right, yes. So now we can get to this. All right, so we're going to start. Today, we're going to start with Chrono, the main character from Chrono Trigger that I remember. And we are going to start there. We also have Luca, it looks like, which I don't think was a secondary character. I think that was, remind me, was Luca actually one of the primary characters in the beginning, or did you have to unlock them and I thought they were like a primary NPC later down the road. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've played this.
Yeah. Like I said, I unfortunately have very limited knowledge, but
someone on YouTube said, "Hi Twitch, why didn't I see them in my chat?" I have multi-chat and it's not working now. See, it was working and it's not. So, well, hi YouTube, thank you so much for that. Oh, it is your first companion. Okay, I must be tripping. I don't know why YouTube isn't displaying my chat. Sorry about that. Well, greetings over there on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know why. It happened once. One time I got a YouTube.
I remember you telling me about that. I don't know if there's like certain settings that might need to get like reset.
I have no idea.
Rude.
Anyway, so yeah, we'll start with Chrono, and then we will move on to Luca, which would be the first companion from the game, and then we will find out what their duel technique is. I'm really curious to see what they can do together. I always appreciate when we've seen builds come in with multiple characters, and while there's good synergy, very rarely do we get to see something that requires both of them in order to accomplish.
Yeah.
And I love that. I'm really curious to see about that because I would like that to happen more on these unique builds, especially when people are building homebrew creatures or homebrew encounters, even if you didn't build the creature specifically to work together, when you build an encounter, having a unique happenstance like this planned for them to work off of each other, I think is something that a lot of DMs could definitely benefit from. So I'm really curious to see what is actually built in here, because I would like to see that happen a lot more.
I totally feel that.
All right, so this is this definitely looks like the character that I remember. This is definitely, isn't it the game artwork? Is this just fan artwork?
I'm not sure. This was submitted by Foxer, so Foxer, you can give us a heads up where you found this artwork. Like
it's just fan art. Okay, yeah, because the game, even like the box had a very unique art style, but it was always sprite-like. I don't remember the original game art having
just kind of like anime style detail.
This is fantastic though. This is very recognizable as the main character. Like I can even bring up a
that is very cool though.
Like if I just bring up the original image here.
Oh yeah.
So there's our main character on the right.
That looks so DBZ in that picture.
It's very, but you can see like the like very obvious. Okay, so there's Luca. Yeah, there we go. Luca's right there. But yeah, so we go from this is the only artwork that I've ever seen that wasn't directly from the game, which is, like sprites. But even this is very sprite like. They look like this in the game. So this is all I ever remember seeing. But going from this to that, that's definitely there. I like that. Looks like DBZ because the guy they made DBZ. Oh, really? I didn't realize that they were the same creator.
Really? Oh, that's kind of dope.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, let's move on. Oh, we have no lore. So, okay. So this isn't going to be this was designed, or we didn't cover this in the intro, but this was designed essentially for a series of battles, kind of a semi-tournament style campaign for some players. So these aren't going to be major NPCs with, great backstories. So we're not going to get any lore here, but if you are interested in lore, go check out Chrono Trigger.
Heck yes.
So moving on to the base stats, we have a medium humanoid, armor class of 21, battle ready stance. Is that 5e or is that custom?
That seems custom. I don't know what battle ready stance is. It almost feels like the monk's ability to take the dodge action, but instead of having it be something that requires your action economy, it's like a passive ability that just increases your AC.
Interesting. Okay. So is this SuperFoxer, is the battle ready stance something? I mean, I'm hoping that we'd be able to either like affect it. It just seems like, is that like it's only that way when they're ready for fighting, so it's kind of like a heightened sense when they're in combat, but when they're out of combat, it's lower.
Oh, that could be interesting.
Which I really like that idea. Just having a lot of things up your AC, but usually it's all just taken into account, right? Like who you are, your dexterity, all of it's already taken into the base number. But having something like that turns on and off, like when you're in battle,
almost like equipping or unequipping a shield.
Yeah, I really like that, as when you're minded for battle, your AC can go up a little bit. I might consider something like a feat, like a custom feat.
Oh, interesting.
That you can activate. So whenever you say, hey, I'm activating this, like you'll get a bonus to your AC and to maybe to hit, but other things like your perception, your speed may slow down. So it's like, you're planting your feet in the ground, so you may not be able to have all your movement, but you're harder to hit because you're just basically ready for anything. It's a natural. Oh, basically natural armor. Gotcha. Okay. So we'll just equate that to natural armor. But thank you for the idea.
I do like that.
I like this idea of a battle ready style feat where, when activated, you basically are saying I'm in battle, and I get all of these bonuses. Because that would be great for like a paladin. Could be even good for a barbarian.
Yes.
Anybody just right up there. Even a monk. Just not going to go anywhere and just sit here and flurry of blows it.
Yeah.
Okay. Hit points 450. 30d10 plus 270.
He did say this is for a level 15 party. A level 15
this is a 15 party encounter.
This is a high level encounter.
Man, that's a beefy boy, especially for only 20 or with the 21 AC. But no major armor. That's just natural body. Man, that's a beefy fight. And the speed is 50. He is fast as fuck, boy.
Fast as fuck, boy.
Wow. That's a beefcake, yeah. But damn that speed. Okay. So he is zipping. He is zippity motherfucker. And you are just gonna just bludgeon the shit out of him. Oh my gosh. Let's look at these impressive stats. We have a strength of 24, a dexterity of 24, constitution of 26, intelligence of 14, and wisdom of 18, and a charisma of 20. Damn those. I mean, any player would kill to have stats like that.
Yeah.
That's
those are like demigod stats, man.
That's the thing is there's a lot to be said for higher ranked characters, but at the same time, there's also a point at which the stats are meant to still represent
what the creature is,
the ideology of mortality, right? Like the ideology that getting up to 20 is a challenge for a mortal, I think is kind of an important inherent aspect of most TTRPGs, or at least with D&D, but you know what I mean? I feel like pushing so many beyond 20, and it really does feel a little bit more of it feels more of an intentional boost to the difficulty without a lore necessity. Like there's no rhyme or reason. It's just because it's meant to be more difficult. And I don't mean that as a knock. I don't mean that as like necessarily a bad thing.
Sure.
But in my opinion, as I read this, that's what I get from this is so far, I'm just like, I don't know why this particular thing would be so powerful. So maybe it's just because they want it to be
scarier,
that much more difficult, which again is not a problem. It's just what I observe. Because again, if it would be a problem if we got lore and we got explanation of, hey, this is, your high school bully who you ran into and he's going to beat you up. He's fucking stacked. Wait, right. What? That
does not compute.
That would be a problem. But this is meant to be a difficult series of fights for level 15s, right?
Sure.
You want it to be difficult. That's a valid reason for it. But also considering that this is their first battle, like of a series.
of this series, yeah.
So I'm having a hard time understanding if this is truly balanced based off of the party that's going to go against it.
Okay. And I would be curious, like, they were talking about level 15s, but like how many level 15s? Is this like, because this is a 2-person battle. Like all these future battles, with the exception of the very last one, are 2-person battles. So they're only gonna be facing 2 opponents. So is it a 4-person party against these 2 people? Is it like a 6 to 8-person party against these 2 people? Like I could see some potential balancing depending on what they can do and depending on how many people they're supposedly trying to go against. But it does seem definitely very this a healthily stacked individual right there for sure.
Yeah, what's going on, Pokeniner?
And they're almost all in the physical stats too. I mean, they got 120 in the mentals, but still
5 level 15s.
5 level 15s. Okay,
so 5 level 15s against this thing. Okay.
Against 2 of these guys.
As it breaks the design of the first section. Not sure what you mean by that, Pokémon, but let me keep reading. Taking into account that they're okay. So these are all optional bosses that they can level. Okay, they're optional, so they have a chance to become level 20 first. This is the first of a challenge of 4.
Okay, so
I kind of agree with Pokémon here that even optional bosses should kind of be built a little bit more specifically. Again, we haven't seen what it can really do, but again, not necessarily saying that this is the wrong way to do it, but I do kind of feel like it feels like this was beefed up just to be a challenge. So the triangle design. So yeah, what do you mean by the triangle design? Are you just talking about the armor, hit points, and speed? Like, are you talking about like those? Like, I've never heard of the triangle design.
I have not either.
So I'm assuming that's the first three things: armor, class, hit point, speed. Like,
that's actually a very creative way to think about that. That makes a lot of sense.
But I don't know if that's what Pokemon is referring to. You did, yeah, and we did get a lot more information on Magus too. So that's some comfort stuff, yeah. So, speed, health, and power. Okay, so that's interesting. I've never heard of anyone refer to triangle design as a way to describe balancing. But yeah, speed, health, power. Okay. That's definitely a way to, yeah. I mean, they're always kind of put together right there. So I mean, that does make sense that it would eventually be referred to as that. I get it. If you have two of the three, let's them try to experiment with the third. If they aren't really great at anything, let's them try to. Oh, I get you. So you have a lot of life but low armor. So it's you know, the idea, and it's fast,
easier to hit,
hard. Yeah, it's like easy to hit, but gonna take a while, or doesn't take a long time, but it's going to be impressively hard to hit. So depending upon which leg you make bigger, one should always suffer for that. So, okay. I get that. It's very discouraging if that part isn't effective. Okay. So I'm starting to understand where you're coming from. Again, I don't know how big of an issue it is because we don't know anything about the party. And obviously when Foxer says something like they have the option to go to level 20, right?
Right.
What that immediately reminds me of is that most campaigns are either not designed or very rarely see the end of a 20th level campaign, right? Like see 20th level. So the fact that this was intended to be that, it's being introduced at level 15, but it is a, hey, this exists when you're ready kind of introduction.
Right.
Very much akin to most video games. There's more understanding here about, because we don't know the setting, we don't know the lore. I'm agreeing with Pokeniner that the overall construct should be a little bit different, but without knowing more context of the setting in the campaign that this is in, as optional bosses, like I said, I don't know if this is a problem or not without seeing more.
Sure.
My initial opinion is that it feels like it's inflated to be difficult, not because there's a in-game justification. Again,
right.
That is that's neither a good or a bad thing. That is just my interpretation of what I'm seeing here. But moving on from that, I mean, the spread is fine. I mean, 26 con's pretty high. Again, without knowing more context, I might drop the strength and dex closer to like a 22 or even a 20, and then put the constitution at like 24.
Sure. And I think a lot of the time,
justify
constitution in these builds can just be an excuse for higher hit points.
Which is that thing point.
Depending on whether this is like a magical creature and it's going to have a lot of con saves that it's going to need to be making, or if it's going to, and
that's the other thing too, is making a difficult fight is one thing, but making it difficult on all fronts. Again, if that's the context of the situation, if the campaign is very Dark Soulsy, what if this what if someone said, hey, I want to run a Dark Souls TTRPG, and that's what this is, right? This could make perfect sense with that.
Sure.
But looking at it, it feels like it's trying to be powerful on all fronts. And so I'm having a struggle to figure out where's the weakness the players are going to,
try to exploit.
Exactly. Because at least with all of these high, if you drop strength down between like 2021 and Dex 2021, they'd be more likely to get off certain spells and certain effects that would require saves.
Sure.
But this is definitely going to make it extremely difficult. And, intelligence and wisdom, I don't think those are really going to be exploitable as much, for the players.
Intelligence, there's really not a whole lot of things that require intelligence saves. You could probably find a decent amount of wisdom saves, but even then, 18 is pretty decent for a wisdom, even for somebody who's 15 to 20th level. Like, Somebody
Oh,
who's
that's
got
right.
18 wisdom is going to have a pretty decent save, especially if they're trained in wisdom saving.
And this was the epic campaign for a group of min-maxers. So this was
that's true. That's
this
true.
was so that again, everything's falling in suit. Now that we have that again, I did forget that context, but with that context in there, the inflation makes sense. Like I said,
Sure.
it's not that it's a knock against the build, it's just where's it coming from. But with the context that this is a min-maxing group of 5 15th level players who have probably spec'd out every inch of these builds, they know whether or not to start going after these optional bosses, right? Like they're probably very aware of where they're at in the campaign. So yeah, I made like a little bit more, but when you have a group like that and they're desiring that kind of a challenge and you know that they can handle it, sometimes there isn't a better option. You know what I mean? It's really hard.
Just give it to them, yeah.
Well, it's like, you know, even in High Point, if someone really wanted that level of fighting, it would be very difficult for me to just hand it over. You know what I mean? Like to just throw the strongest dragon in High Point at you, right? Like for me to do something like that would basically require, lore-wise, it would require near divine intervention, right? Because the power scaling doesn't work like that. You don't just suddenly get to fight the strongest things. But when you are in a gaming group that's the intent, the entire intent is to see if every single person can.
Well, I do have an idea. Tell me what you think about this. I know specifically in High Point, you've talked multiple times about having fixed points in time. And it's very similar to how you did with myself and Vixie. You kind of created a campaign around something that you knew was going to occur in the world.
Exactly.
So like, say if there was some sort of calamity or some sort of like a big event that you know some dangerous shit's gonna be at. I mean, you could.
I usually reserve that for like historical things. Like I will do that. Yeah, I will run like, you know, I would say, hey, in the past, this battle happened. You were these people. Figure out exactly what happened to them. Yeah, but that's the thing. So
I do totally get what you're saying though.
So now that we remember that, it does help explain where the inflation is coming from, and it's starting to make a lot more sense because there's just only so much in the D&D books. Eventually you really just have to start throwing things at them that are creative and just equally as powerful as they need to be. You know what I mean?
100%.
And not every time is it easy to throw in something that fully, you know, I would say like fully just makes sense, right? Like this would make sense to be on that level of entertaining and challenging, right? It clicks on both of those levels.
Right.
So yeah. All right, so let's move into more of what these things can actually do. So for saving throws, we have a dexterity plus 12, constitution plus 13, wisdom of plus 9. Skills, we have acrobatics 12, athletics 12, and perception 10. Damage resistances, so no damage immunities, but damage resistance, resistant to force, lightning, psychic, and radiant. Now, again, without any lore, without any context, I can only assume that those were specifically chosen to cause challenges to these particular players.
Sure.
It's a very unique blend.
Collection, yeah.
And then we have condition immunity. So charmed, frightened, paralyzed, and stunned. Not terrible immunities, but considering that entire conglomeration, force, lightning, psychic, radiant, charmed, frightened, paralyzed, stunned.
Force is one of the ones that people are, that creatures are immune to the least. Like it's when you see the least, so putting it on there is definitely a hit to those min-maxers. You're probably gonna have maximized on the fact that most other creatures aren't immune to it, and so they're gonna have a lot of stuff that does it. Radiant, any sort of divine creatures, it's probably gonna be there to help counter that. Psychic is one of the least used and one of the hardest to protect against damage types.
Yeah.
That's out there. Lightning, I don't know. Lightning's just. Maybe it makes
that feels personal
more for the character than anything else.
Honestly, that feels personal. The lightning feels like fuck you and your chain lightning
He's
or whatever
probably a
the fuck.
Tempest cleric or some shit, and like everything he does is lightning. He's like, man, fucking shit, bro.
That's exactly what I feel like when I see it's like Force, Psychic, Radiant. Okay, lightning. That's a fuck you in particular kind of one. Maybe I'm wrong, and let me know, Foxer, if that's true. But I just feel like the lightning is a particular middle finger for somebody. But yeah, the charmed makes perfect sense. But what's interesting, so charmed and frightened are great. You know,
Sure.
they're not going to back down. So actually, lightning and light are Cronus's elements in the OG game. Oh, okay. So the lightning and radiant are the actual ones that come with the character build already.
Oh, okay.
So it's the force and psychic that gets added. Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Well, I guess color me wrong then.
But no, that made a lot of sense. I would have ran with that,
I think the paralyzed and stun too. That's dirty.
especially for monks, man.
That's super dirty, but I see Tempest Cleric hate, Warlock, Eldritch Blast hate, Psychic Mage hate, and Spirit Guardians hate. Oh yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, the paralyzed and stun, that I think is honestly my favorite part about this, because for a high level battle, just not being able to this thing will never not have a turn. That's what
you ain't stopping me, bro.
Exactly.
Like, you're not stopping me.
That right there makes this, I think, extremely aggravating for a challenge, because there's just no break. This thing is just going to keep coming after you. I like that. We have a passive perception of 15, and then it has 2 languages, Celestial and Common. Doesn't really need a whole lot. You know, that's fine. Oh yeah, I guess the Magus was the I hate damage, just in general. Just the I don't want that. I don't want that.
I will say the stats, and I don't know if you created these stats a very specific way, Foxer, but traditionally your bonus to perception is your bonus to your passive perception, so it's 10 plus whatever your perception bonus is. So in this case, it should theoretically be a 20. Also, some of the stats seemed different, but I'm actually, it's interesting. I think a lot of the times we usually just go with what the automatic natural elements say to go with for increasing the stats or giving us our skill saves. But I like the fact that sometimes, like, hey, maybe your passive perception isn't as high as you thought, even though you're good at active perception for whatever reason. Maybe this person doesn't have that natural inclination, or they haven't trained that part of themselves for whatever reason. So I don't mind seeing things shifted like that. I'm just curious if that was intentional or not.
Gotcha. Yeah. And it's one of those things that I kind of agree. It's weird to me that you have 2 stats, but by default they're always the same. It's like, then why make them 2 stats? Just say perception is, like the fact that you call it something different should mean that there's a different calculation. But if they're always going to be equal, why do we even call it passive? Like why is passive perception a thing if it's always equal to percent? You know what I mean? Like if
it's like that's the number you use to add to this. So it's like, your perception is a plus 10, so that means your passive perception is gonna be a plus 20. Your perception is a plus 5, so that means your passive perception is gonna be a plus 15. It's like, yeah, it's just like your what's it called? Your proficiency bonus. You have your proficiency bonus. You add it to a whole bunch of other things, and maybe that's why it is. So you can.
I feel like that's complicating the matter more than it needs to be, honestly. Like it just seems weird. Technically, all skills have passives. Yeah, it's.
I mean, can all skills? I think for the most part. Although I don't know if you can have a passive athletics score.
Walking
exactly. I mean,
walking is technically a passive athletics check every single step, so you don't fall over.
Sure. Okay. Fair enough.
And yeah, passive is just 10 plus your skill. So as long as you don't have, a negative in dexterity, you're going to stay upright.
Fair enough. Wild.
Your passive intelligence is to remember to breathe. Things like that. All right, so let's check out these abilities. So legendary resistances, we have 3 per day. If Chrono fails a saving throw, it can choose to succeed instead. Very common and
standard.
pretty standard.
Legendary creatures.
Flash Step, Chrono can take the dash or disengage action as a bonus action on each of their turns.
Lightweight rogue activity.
And that's where the speed works. I mean, especially how fast this damn thing is.
Yup.
50. Swordmaster techniques. Kronos' weapon attacks count as magical. His katana deals radiant damage in addition to its base damage.
I'm curious if that means the damage counts as both radiant and physical.
Like one damage type, but it counts for both, so
right,
it's gonna hit you
Yeah.
one way or the other.
It's like somebody who's immune to the physical part of the damage is still going to take the full damage.
That's the way I read it, especially since it doesn't say it does an additional 1d4.
Yeah.
I read that as it does damage, but it counts as both types.
Sure.
Which we very rarely don't see. Like, we don't really see sharing a type. It's usually one and another.
Yeah.
So I do like that, actually.
I think that's cool. I think I feel like it'd be valuable to articulate that a little bit clearer. It would be like, it counts as both physical and radiant.
Yes.
You know, something like that. Yeah.
I like that. Arc of Light. At the start of combat, Chrono unleashes a radiant aura. For 1 minute, his melee attacks deal an extra 2d12 radiant damage.
Wild. Okay.
All right, yeah.
He could just do that. That just happens
at the start of combat.
At the start of combat. That's
so just boom for the next. So at the start of combat, boom. He's just.
And again, most combats don't last for more than a minute, so that's just all the fucking time.
I like that.
Unless for whatever reason, put it this way, I could see a min-maxed battle lasting for longer than a minute.
Oh yeah.
Like I could see this going on to like them like intentionally trying to like draw it out and like make it last for longer than that many turns just so they can avoid that extra 2d12. God bless, that's crazy.
Yeah, I like that.
Hey, get you some. Get you some.
And that's going to be also radiant. So all of that is radiant
just
damage.
Just pure radiant. Yep.
Sword Saint's Focus. Chrono gains the following abilities. Chrono score a critical hit on an 18.
18 through 20. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
On a crit, Chrono may take an additional melee attack once per turn.
Wild.
I love it.
Okay. So not only do you do extra damage, but not only do you crit more often, but whenever you do crit, you get to do an additional
extra ass attack. That's
okay.
I like that. This is the stuff that I hope to see in more builds. These are the kind of cool abilities that these are just those things that we just haven't heard before. Like little things like that just make it feel a little bit it's not just unique. It makes it feel more like believable.
Yes, more alive almost.
There's so many times where you see the same things coming off of the same creatures or different creatures, and you're just like, this is just suddenly like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, now I'm paying attention. Like, what else are you doing?
It wakes you up a little bit. I feel that.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. So legendary resistance. I mean, that's pretty standard. I think that's just kind of a gimme for any boss fight. The flash step, I think, is solid. No changes there. I really like the Swordmaster techniques. That works. The Arc of Light is great. Yeah, no changes on the abilities. I think they're all actually pretty spot on.
No, very cool. Flash step made me initially think that there was going to be some like teleportation type shit.
I thought it was going to be like Misty Step or something like that.
But I do like this. It just makes them like extra quick, but like not like, you know, godly.
If you really wanted to do one up, you could do a real flash step like in DBZ, to where when he uses this ability to dash or disengage, he leaves an aura till the start of his next turn behind.
Oh, so it looks like he's like an after image type deal,
and like gives him like an extra bonus to AC or something.
Okay, it could almost work like one of your mirror images type shits. Okay,
like I could even see like if you really wanted to go one extra step, I could see something like that, but that's more of a DBZ reference than the Chrono Trigger reference. So
fair enough.
But let's move on to their actual actions now. So we have physical techniques. We have a multi-attack. They can spend up to 3 physical attack charges per turn. Okay, so they get 3 attacks per turn. They get 3 charges. They get 3 attack charges. The following attacks will use different charges.
Yes.
So you can do Cyclone, which uses 1 charge per round.
Which means you get 1 charge per round. So for that particular attack, you can only use it once.
Yes, you can use this. You can't just use it 3 times.
Yes.
But you can use this with the use of 1 charge in a round.
Yes.
Spin in place and strike all enemies within 10 feet. Attack is +10 to hit. Damage is a 4d8 plus 7 slashing, plus the 2d12 on top of it because of the katana. All of that acting as radiant damage as well. That's I'm always a fan of area of effect physical damage, and we don't see it often enough where people can do AoE physical. So I'm here for that.
To be clear, I worked with Foxer on making sure that I understood what was happening with these attacks beforehand. So Foxer, please correct me if any of the understandings we have about how this works is incorrect or not. But based on what we talked about, I'm pretty sure this is how you can combine and use all of these different physical techniques each turn.
Yeah, so you would be able to do like Cyclone and Dream Seeker, which has 2 charges per round, right? So you could use both of those in the same round.
Yes.
But you can't use 2 Cyclones or okay. Oh, cool. I like that. Damage is definitely devastating, but I like it. Okay, so Dream Seeker, 2 charges per round. It's a melee weapon attack, plus 12 to hit. Reach is 10. Okay.
This is your basic attack, basically. This is your like standard normal.
1 target hits
attack.
26, 3d12 plus 7 slashing damage. Gotcha. But it has the ability to have reach, so it lets the katana have a reach.
Sure.
That's interesting. Okay. I don't know if that's just because it's from the game.
I mean, theoretically, the Cyclone's also 10 feet.
Man, so that I kind of expected like the Cyclone because I remember like in the game like he would like do like
spin around like a top kind of.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the same game or not, but I remember there was like an animation for that. So I kind of get that where he'll like go all about. But the Dream Seeker one, I don't know. It's that's 5d12 slashing damage because you get the 2 plus 12 for the first minute of combat.
Yep.
So yeah, it's not. I mean, I guess the idea, because it's supposed to be that every round along with Cyclones. So yeah, okay.
But you can theoretically do 2 of those Dream Seekers in a turn too.
No, because it's 2 charges per round, and you only have 3 physical attack charges.
So you have 2 charges of them, but you can use up to 3 charges. So again, theoretically, the way it could work is I could use a Dream Seeker, and then
that's not how much it costs, because I thought it costs 2 charges, and it says you can do 3 physical attacks.
That's how many you have them a round. So Cleave, you can do 3 cleaves in 1 round. Frenzy, you can do 2 frenzy.
I would not have said 3 charges per round, because that just means that I would say it just that
was my fault. I was trying to figure out the best way to like represent that out here.
Because when it says up here, it says 3 physical attack charges per turn. And then it says Cyclone is 1 charge. That makes me think it's one of the 3 charges, which means I'd only be able to do 1 Cyclone and 1 Dream Seeker because that uses all 3 charges. Whereas I can do 1 Cleave, but none of the others because it would use all 3 charges.
Right.
That's the way I was reading this.
So the number is supposed to be the limit in which you can use that particular ability.
Okay, so let's
round.
ignore the charges. There are no charges. Cyclone can be used once per round, period. Just once per round.
Yes. Cyclone can be used once per round.
Dream Seeker can be used twice per round.
Correct.
Okay, so Cleave, a powerful overhead strike, melee weapon, plus 12 to hit, 60-10 slashing damage, critical hit range increases 17. Okay, so Cleave, you get a 17 to crit. On crit, you do an extra 2d10 radiant. Interesting, because I always imagine Cleave is hitting more than 1 person.
Like the sideways cleave rather than the like downward cleave.
But I guess that's also a way to cleave. So you're just doing extra damage. Okay. So Cleave is more or less your primary attack. Like this one, you're just basically really trying to output your damage. You have a better chance to crit with this one. You're doing, 3d10 or 6d10 versus 3d12. That's huge of a difference.
Yeah.
That's way different. Yeah, 2 uses per round, or even just 1 slash round. Like even Cyclone, 1 slash round to me would just mean once per round.
Sure.
Would just be because the charges, especially I just read 3 physical charges, so I immediately said these all have an economy.
Yeah.
That's because whenever we talk about like charges, like
and I was trying to let you because it's the way that it was originally articulated to me. Because the last one, Frenzy, is you have 2 charges per minute, right? So that means you don't get those charges back until that minute.
Right, you can
up.
do that twice in a minute, and then you have to wait for it. Okay.
Yes, and so like all the other ones, you can do this 3 times every round before you have to wait for it to recharge. You can do it 2 times every round before you have to wait for it to recharge, type deal.
It's a Frenzy is attack 1 target 4 times in rapid succession. Each hit is a 12 plus 12 to hit, 2d10 plus 7 slashing damage. Damn. Okay. Interesting. So I would say that I would just rewrite this. And again, this is not like about what it can do, but I would rewrite it just multi-attack. Chrono can basically multi-attack should just say he can make 3 attacks per round.
Okay.
Right? Or per turn. Like that I would just shorten to Chrono can make 3 attacks per turn. And then Cyclone 1 attack per round and then 2 attack per round. So then that way you're saying in his turn, he gets 3 of these attacks. But these are how many. These are the combos he can do. He can only do 1 of these. He can do up to 2 of these, or he can use all 3 for the cleave. Right? Like that would be the just a different way of saying it is how many total attacks you get.
I was the biggest aspect I wanted to include is you have the ability to mix and match. And so it's I can cleave once, I can cyclone once, and I can dream seeker once if I want to.
If it just said you get 3 attacks, if multi-attack is 3 attacks per round, and then it listed these, and it just told me how many of these I get per round.
Okay.
And then even if you wanted to say multi-attack, you can do 3. You can do any combination of the attacks below, up to 3 times, and then again.
Got you.
I
can get down with that.
I think just the use of charges, because D&D already uses that term, I think is really where it gets confusing.
Got you. And so that was on my translation rather than
no worries. I mean,
but no, I totally agree with you, and so I can update that before we.
Okay, so basically we get 3 attacks per round. Any combination of these. We can do 3 cleaves or 2 dream seekers and 1 cyclone, and any combination up to 3. So got all that, and then frenzy, we can just go after 1 person 4 straight times, but we can only do that twice per minute. And I'm assuming that just means that each one of them has a minute cooldown. So if I use one, the first one will come back in a minute, but if I use the second one, it'll take another minute for that one to come back, kind of thing.
I'm not sure.
Because I'm assuming that if I use one, wait 59 seconds, use the other one, I don't get both of them back in 1 second.
I would agree with that, yes.
So basically it's, you get 2 charges, but constructively they each take a minute to come back. Because it would be kind of weird to say that you waited a minute, use the second one to get immediately 2 back. I just don't know if that would
for sure
make sense.
Okay, I'm thinking Foxer says yeah.
Right,
yeah,
cool.
That's what was intended. Okay.
So with that being said, I like the way that these attacks work. I like the more often than not, multi-attack is just you can cut them, you can bite them, you can kick them, and you get 2 attacks per round, or you get 3 attacks per round, right? Like that's usually just it. This does feel a little bit more expanded upon that. There's a little bit more versatility because more often than not, I think what I'm getting at is more often than not, they're just different types. Like I can do 1d6 bludgeoning or 2d4 slashing.
Right.
That's it. It's still a melee attack.
Ranged versus something else, and you can Yeah.
But with this, at least, it's do you want to attack one enemy? I wouldn't mind. Well, you have a multiple enemy with Cyclone. You have massive hits on a single enemy. You have the
rapid fire.
So what I'm curious about though is, okay, so Dreamseeker, the biggest benefit to Dreamseeker is they're ranged. Cleave is best, but Dreamseeker has range, and then Cyclone is just for multiple enemies.
Okay.
So that's pretty well rounded.
Okay.
And from what I remember, that does go along with how you could attack in the game. I do remember I want to say I have memories of like the animations for some of these.
For some of these actual techniques. Okay. That's pretty dope.
And then, yeah, he does have magical techniques too. I did see that coming up here next. All right, so those are all his physical techniques that he's able to do. All right, so magic techniques, they are only able to use one magic technique per turn. So just one kind of, just like a spell.
It's basically like you can use your action to do physical techniques, or you can use your action to do a magical technique.
Yeah.
But you can't like combo these together in one turn.
All right, so we have Wind Slash. Unleash a horizontal wave of energy in a 30-foot line, 5 foot wide. Dexterity save DC 18. Take 6d6 radiant damage, half on a success. Okay. I remember something like that from the game. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's a nice ranged attack.
Okay. Here's probably why he's immune to lightning.
Right. Lightning strike. Strike a single target with a bolt of energy. DC save, Dex save DC 18. 8d8 lightning damage, or half as much on a save.
I would like to know what the range is on that.
Yes, we do need a range on those ones. Because that one was 30 foot.
Yeah, horizontal wave of energy. And so that wave of energy is just going to be like anything within that. It's 5 feet wide. It's almost like a lightning bolt, but obviously with like wind.
Question is, I don't know if that's supposed to end when it hits a target, or does it continue?
Oh, does it go through them? Does it penetrate?
Because this one says single target. This one does not.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if Wind Slash was supposed to go through targets.
Be interesting.
Lightning 2, you get only 3 charges per minute. Massive electrical bursts to all enemies within 60 feet. Dexterity save DC 18. 10d8 lightning damage. Ooh, boy. That's devastating right there.
You only get 3 of them in a minute, but still, that's some pretty hefty.
Ooh, raise. Revive a fallen ally with 1/3 their HP. That's fucking great, especially for a combo team.
Yup.
That I don't want to see. I don't want to see BS healing. That's what I want to see. Just you're up, you're at third. Let's keep going. This is like, it's funny. Normally I don't like the video game feel, but knowing that this is just for like that min-maxing group that just wants a slog of a challenge, I'm getting the vibe here of this is exactly what they want. You know what I mean?
I totally feel that.
There may not be a lot of like meat and juice behind this. You know, there may not be a lot of like in-depth lore and understanding, but combative wise, like on an actual scale of people who enjoy actually rolling dice and just doing combat in D&D, I can see why this is going to be an entertaining fight.
Yes.
And then Luminari, 1 charge per minute, radiates divine light in a 40-foot radius. Con save DC 18, 12d12 radiant damage, half on a success. Creatures that fail to save are blinded for 2 turns.
Wild. Okay.
That could be devastating.
40-foot radius, 18, 12d12, and blinded. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I have a feeling that this is definitely going to give them a run for their money. That's for sure. Let's go into legendary actions. Chrono can take 3 legendary actions, choosing from the options below. Only 1 legendary action option may be used at a time, and only 1 at the end of another creature's turn. The Acolyte regains spent legendary actions at the start of their turn. I think it was supposed to say the hero.
Yeah, it was. I used the template for that.
Oh, right. So first one is Guard Break. Melee attack on hit. Target's AC is reduced by 2 until the start of Chrono's next turn. Interesting.
It's interesting that it's till the start of their turn, because then it might be hard for them to take advantage of it unless they're using other of their legendary actions.
Well, yeah, because it says, so this activates at the end of another creature's turn, and then this is basically, so someone's turn ends, he hits them, and their AC is reduced by 2, but that's meant for his ally. So essentially end your turn. You end your turn. I hit your ally, knock his AC down by 2.
Now it's my
and then
buddy's
Luca
turn.
Comes in and
messes them up.
Yeah, and I'll bet, or at least I would hope that Luca has some kind of stacking ability when someone's AC has been reduced.
Oh, that would be cool. That'd be cool.
You know, so yeah.
I would be okay, and I would probably like to see it say until the end of Chrono's next turn,
Just so he can also
Chrono can
benefit,
take advantage of it.
just in
It'd make
case
me
it's
feel a
not.
little bit. But again, you know,
I don't mind it leaning
gonna
into
be
the
too
duo,
hard?
though. But I don't mind it leaning into the duo. The fact
Sure.
is that's
is
a good
very
balance.
true. That is
Remember we
very
talked
true.
about this earlier, is adding detriments to help balance it instead of taking away abilities, right?
Yeah.
While it would be
Yeah.
nice for Kronos to benefit off of this, the balancing act here is that it's
Having
a
an ability
detriment
that's-
when your ally isn't up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. I like that. The next one we have Flicker. Gain advantage on the next dexterity saving throw within 1 round. So I'm assuming that has to do with someone like cast a spell. And I mean, because that's going to be, because again, you have to do it at the end of someone's turn, but that's giving you a benefit on a dexterity saving throw within 1 round. So within this, like,
I have
so,
to know something's coming within a round.
but you have to know it at the end of someone's turn, but by the end of their turn, whatever they've done to you. So you'd have to know, you know what I mean? Like, in what situation would you know at the end of one person's turn that you're going to need a dex save within that same turn?
Unless there's some like lair abilities, like you pull a lever and you know something's going to go off like the next round,
Or there's
an
an ability from one of the players.
Yeah,
Could it be that
like
where
has
it's
a
like
delayed reaction, delayed explosion fireball? or something like
SuperFoxer,
that?
can you give us a, okay, so making the dex, making the ally doing an AoE attack that needs a dex save. Oh, gotcha. So if as Kronos, I'm in melee range, Luca's about to do an AoE effect that's going to affect me. Before it's Luca's turn, I can go, hey, I'm going to get advantage on this dex save. Go ahead, fireball him. I'll get out.
Got you.
Again,
Okay.
detriments, adding detriments to make
Cool.
the abilities work. I like that. Okay, see, this is one of the things we don't really see is that would not benefit them at all without their ally.
Yeah.
You would never use that if you aren't knowing ahead of time. I like that. That is one of those things that we don't see very often. All right, Stunning Strike. It costs 2 actions, so 2 of the 3 legendary actions. It's a melee attack on hit, DC 18 con save, or be stunned until the end of Kronos' next turn. There's your... Everyone benefits from that.
You know what's interesting? I kind of like so far that none of these things do damage. He does enough damage on his turn.
Yeah.
All of his legendary actions are just to like fuck you up.
It's crowd control.
Interesting. Okay.
And it's really leading onto the ally. Guardian Spirit. An ally within 30 feet gains +5 AC until the start of their next turn.
Okay. Kind of giving them shield.
I might
lightweight
name
for a
it
little
something
bit?
different.
Hmm?
I would probably name it something different. I'd probably also name Stunning Strike something different. Just 'cause we already have a Stunning Strike and we already have Guardian Spirit.
Spirit Guardians.
Or
yeah.
Spirit Guardian. Okay, well, Guardian Spirit then is fine. But we have Stunning Strike already.
We do.
So I would just be mindful that no one gets confused. Okay. Luminary Flash costs all 3 actions. Reuse Luminary at half power, so a 60-10 radiant, 20-foot radius, DC 18 on a failed blinded until the next turn.
Okay.
That's again. It's not just a reset. It's a reset at half. That's brilliant. That's
Okay,
so nice.
I like that. And I like that it costs all of it. So you have to know that that's what you want to do.
At least this turn.
Because you won't be able to use Flicker. You won't be able to use Guard Break. You won't be able to use any of your other abilities.
Yeah, at least until what? Someone else's next turn or whatever?
No, until so you're using all 3 of your abilities and you don't get them back until it's your turn again.
Yeah, okay.
So it's like a reaction. You get your reaction every time it's your turn again. You get your legendary actions every time it's your turn again. So yeah, until it's your turn again, you can't do anything.
And then Last Light also costs 3 actions. If Chrono is below 100 HP, deal 10d10 radiant damage in a 40-foot radius burst centered on him. He then he regains 50 HP. He can use this once per battle.
Wild.
Honestly,
Wild. What's their max HP?
That's what I was about to say. Like, what was it? 450?
Yeah,
Maybe 1 or 150.
I'd do a little because like.
Well, honestly, at least 1/3 because that's what the other person,
Yeah, 'cause
he can bring them up to the other person to at least 1/3.
You can do 50 damage in a single hit.
I would say at least 100, if not 150.
Yeah, I agree.
That's where I would go with that,
agree.
especially because it just doesn't feel right with the rest of how overpowered he is.
Just
like,
50 HP for sure.
Like as a DM, I would never use it. Like, when am I going to use the
Especially for
ability for 50
3
hit points?
Yeah.
You got to give me at least 150.
I mean, I like the
to
damage.
withstand
The
this.
damage is good, but like, you know, definitely give me a little bit more, especially because if you want to make it feel like they're getting back into the fight because of this, that's what's going to make me feel like they're getting back into, like, oh, I almost got him down. Oh,
Yeah.
shit. All right. Now I got to fucking run through this again.
I mean, or like maybe 25 for every target hit. Like something like, you know,
Sure.
maybe, or even 50 for every target hit. I mean, if there's 5 of them, that could be damn near his whole, you know,
If you
health
can get
back.
everybody. Yeah.
But something like that. I would make it to where he gets a little bit more health back, but you can make it dynamic and just based off the targets. Okay. So that's interesting. Note, if you're in combat with Luca and you meet the requirements, you can use dual techniques. Okay, we are, yeah. So that was our first character of this duo. Not bad, not bad. Definitely, I'm starting to get the feeling this is definitely not your standard D&D take. Like most people aren't just going to pick this up. It's very situational for the setting it's in.
Sure.
But it's a challenge if somebody wants it.
Yes.
That is for sure. There is nothing short of a challenge here.
Yes, I definitely feel like, you know, I've always had an idea of doing like a little arena thing where people could just like test out like certain builds and stuff like that. I would love to have something in here for like a high level build, like people are testing out and like see what it would do up against a creature set like this. So
Right.
that'd be really cool.
All right, so let's find out what the secondary character is. So we have Luca, a medium humanoid, armor class of 21 with Taban's armor. I'm assuming that's similar to just whatever armor that they're going to have. Hit points 330, so
A little bit less,
about
but still.
120 less. 32d8 plus 192, and a speed of 35, so significantly slower. Strength of 14, dexterity of 20, constitution of 22, intelligence of 26, wisdom of 16, and charisma of 18. Now these are much more of your standard stats, and I'm actually really surprised. I mean, we have an intelligence of 26, we have a constitution of 22, we have a dexterity of 20. That's pretty damn good. I'm just really surprised to see a lot more balancing here and a lot more of a standard spread.
It might be because, again, Chrono was meant to be like the main character, and so they're supposed to be kind of like higher, more powerful, stronger than all the other ones. So like in comparison to all the other characters. But again, this is the very first encounter of the rest. So I'm assuming it's going to get harder from here on in.
So not both,
all the way up to the boss.
Both characters don't need to be brutes.
Sure.
To be fair.
This might be more of like the utility, the support character, you know?
Yeah.
And kind of the way that the attacks on Chrono went, I'm kind of thinking that it might be as well.
Yeah. All right. So far, opposite side of the coin. Definitely a lot more of a chill side of this thing. Okay. So saving throws, we have Constitution plus 12, Intelligence plus 14, Wisdom plus 9. Skills and Arcana, History and Investigation. Damage resistances are Fire, Force, Lightning, and Psychic. Versus we had before
lightning and fire.
Force, Lightning, Psychic, Radiant. Gotcha. Force, Lightning, Psychic, Fire. So Radiant and Fire were the two changes.
Got you.
Condition immunities, Charmed, Frightened, Paralyzed, Stunned, same as before. Wouldn't mind seeing those a little bit different, but I get it. We want to make this challenge, pretty good. Senses, passive perception of 13. Languages, Common, Draconic, and Gnomish. Now, I don't know if that's just for the flavor of lore or if that could somehow be utilized in-game.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
With these guys.
But they both speak, he speaks Celestial, she speaks Draconic and Gnomish. Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right, so abilities. So legendary resistance 3 times per day. If Luca fails a saving throw, they can choose to succeed instead. Always going to be there. Tactical Mind. Luca gains advantage on saving throws against spells or effects that would inflict a status effect.
I like that. I like that.
Okay. So not just damage spells are going to go right through, but if you're trying to do anything long lasting, okay.
If you're trying to do some crowd control, some CC, some domination type stuff, whatever, any kind of status effects. I like that.
Yeah. Nothing from Chrono does that. I was kind of seeing if that was like, a protection against Chrono.
Oh, yeah.
So not quite that, but I'm assuming that's in preparation for the players. Let's see. We have Flame Mastery. All her fire-based spells ignore fire resistance and treat immunity to fire as resistance instead. Okay, so it drops all fire down.
Okay.
If a creature doesn't have fire resistance, it's considered vulnerable.
So it drops everything down.
So Luca's fire is just
I'm
a
gonna
step
fuck you
above.
up.
Oh,
Damn.
and that's I wonder if that's why we need a advantage to dexterity
Because
saving
he's
throws
not resistant to fire damage
at all. So he's vulnerable. So he needs that advantage.
Yeah, that's wild.
Okay. Scientific adaptation. Once per turn, when Luca deals fire damage, she can re-roll 1 damage die. That's dope.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay.
Emergency override. First time Luca drops below 100 HP, first time, gains an extra action for the next 3 rounds as if they were hasted.
That's fucking sick. I like these
This is feeling-
random
this-
different triggers.
This one is way more middle of the road, kind of standard, what you would expect.
sure.
Okay. Yeah, those feel great. This is I'm torn now. These feel awesome. I like these just in general. As general abilities, these feel great. Yeah, no notes. Advantage against status effects. All fire is increased. You reroll 1 damage die, which is just like, that's just one of those like nice little like
You get a
icing on
1,
the
and you're like,
cake
nah,
things.
let me make that a 6 right quick.
Yeah, just it's not a lot, but it's nice. And then you get an extra action to help. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Yeah, no notes. That one's great. Moving on to actions. We have multi-attack. They can make 2 attacks per turn with their Dream Seeker. Okay, so same thing. The Dream Seeker as we had before. So it is...
Wait a second.
Oh, wait. Oh, maybe that was just an accidental copy-paste.
Oh.
Because I think with his Dream Seeker was supposed to...
Yeah, these are supposed to be different.
That's... Okay. Oh, yeah, because this is Cyclone Wind / Lightning Cleave.
Did it? Oh, shoot. Stand by.
Yeah, they're the same ones.
Are all... Scroll down a little bit on Luca's.
Lightning 2, Raise, Frenzy, Luminari.
Keep going.
Flamethrower. Okay, so the techniques are different.
That's so weird.
The
How did that
techniques and the
happen?
legendary actions are
I was about to say,
different.
I knew I did the majority of it. I don't know how those other techniques snuck in there.
Okay, so Luca just has no physical attacks. So all of these, ignore all of these. So all of this is just gone. We don't have any physical attacks. We just go straight to techniques.
I swear there was something under the regular attacks. I mean, look, I don't think it's considered a physical technique.
Gotcha.
But let me just look real quick.
Don't worry, it'll get fixed.
We will fix it in post, y'all.
Fix it in post. All right, so we do have we have no physical attacks, but we do have techniques. And these kind of look a little bit more like their magic essentially. So starting with Flamethrower, it is at will, so this is basically your cantrip. We have Unleash a Stream of Fire in a 30-foot line, 5 foot wide. Dexterity DC 19, 4d6 fire damage. On fail, ignites the target for 1d6 fire at the start of their next 2 turns. That's awesome. I like lighting things on fire.
You're correct. Just remove anything that was under the physical abilities, and the rest should be accurate.
All right, so yeah, so that's cool. Hit them with an Unleash of Fire, and if they don't save, they take 46 fire and are lit on fire for the next 2 rounds.
Okay.
Taking the d6 of fire.
Nice.
Hypno Wave emits a psychic pulse. Wisdom save DC 15. Each creature within 30 feet from Luca, except allies, must succeed or fall asleep for 1 minute. Save ends at the end of the turn, ends on damage. Wow.
Wild. That's crazy. So within 30 feet?
Just not even incapacitated, just straight up asleep. And then homie over
For
here.
a minute.
Homie over here can just come over to your...
It is save ends, which is cool.
But homie can come over here and get advantage on a cleave shot. And then you're still prone. Even though you're awake, you're still prone. He can just...
Although, I think when you're asleep and you get hit prone, like it's an auto crit.
Yeah. So you go to sleep. He auto crits with his biggest attack.
Do not get hit with that. Do not get hit with that, bro.
Damn.
Do not get hit with that.
Because yeah, he could just go and cleave you, auto crit. You'll be awake, but then he still gets 2 more hits on you, and you're still prone.
So you got to take this dude out by range, because if you get up on him and he drops this on, and that's at will, bro.
And that's everybody.
That's
anybody that he
will.
can just drop. Bro.
That's at will. That's crazy.
I don't know. I don't know if that, like,
I feel like at the least that should have a limit to how many times you can do it.
Why aren't you just doing that until everybody fucking like? Because I mean, you wouldn't. You would just always do that. The moment it's your turn, everyone's asleep. You would just constantly be putting the team to sleep.
Like honestly, the imagine these two guys are fighting one dude, and I smack you really hard, I put you to sleep. I smack you really hard, I put you to sleep. I smack you really hard, I put you to sleep. I smack you really hard, I put you to sleep. You're dead in like 2 rounds, tops. Like, and he's got so many different attacks. He could slack you like 6 times before you actually. That's crazy.
At will crazy. Might be a little bit much. Like, I know it's a super low DC, but still, like, I mean, most characters at that level will have some bonuses.
Sure.
Oh, that spam ability is a lot.
And maybe it's like you have to. I would love it. Especially this is an Artificer. I would love it if you could break something on them to stop them from getting to use this, and then they have to like take an action to repair it in order to get to use it again. Then I would be okay with it being at will, because then it adds a lot to the strategy of it. It allows you to counter it, allows you to find a way around it, allows you to like clear up some of the action economy to do certain things. As is, that is. I mean, hard.
Races that can't be put together magically, it depends on if you consider psychic magic. I mean,
there are some that just say you can't be put to sleep, period.
Oh, gotcha.
Like the Warforged, you can't be forced to be put to sleep by any means.
That's fair. Okay, so yeah, there is that. Yeah, you don't actually have consciousness, but still, it's just.
So there's
it's hesitation, lots of hesitation on that.
Sure.
All right, moving on. Fire 5 times per minute, or 5 per minute. You get 5 per minute. Targeted bursts that can be launched up to 120 feet. Dexterity save DC 19, 6d8 fire damage. So that's just
like a mortar, basically.
The old school, like what you assume fireball actually is just lobbing
a giant ball of fire.
Oh, okay.
Wild.
Napalm, 3 per minute. Explosive vial launched into 30-foot radius. DC 19, dexterity, 66 fire damage plus 3d6 thunder. And it ignites the area, 15-foot radius, for 1 turn. Any creature that starts its turn there takes 3d6 fire damage. Okay, I like that. That's some fucking great shit right there.
That is kind of cool.
Especially at the very beginning of a round. Can you imagine just blanketing an area? Just like, come at me, bro.
Yeah.
Protect. Target a creature or self. Gain resistance to all physical damage and gains +2 to their AC for 3 turns. No concentration needed. What the fuck? And you can do that once per round. So that means that you can do it in 2 rounds. You can have both people protected. So it's like every couple rounds you could just re-up that. Unless you can only have one at a time.
How long does it last for?
So it says it lasts for 3 turns. And no concentration needed, but you can do 1 per round. So I'm assuming that means that I could do it on myself, next round do it on you, and we're both protected for the next, I
mean, I'd have to
3 turns.
It would take a lot of my action economy to like maintain the entire fight, but yeah.
Every couple turns you would have to reschedule it. But yeah, that's okay. That's not bad. Resistance to all physical damage, that's pretty clutch as a support class.
Yeah.
Fire 2, 3 per minute, unleashes a massive fire eruption in a 60-foot radius, radiating from Luca. Dex save 19, 10d8 fire damage, half on success. Tons of fire damage in this.
So much fire damage. And that works well with their ability that we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm. Megaton bomb, 2 times per minute. Launch up to 60 feet, a slow burning heavy explosive. Creatures in 30 feet radius must succeed a DC save DC 19 or take 10d8 fire damage plus 4d6 thunder damage, half on a save.
Okay, quick question. In this earlier, their ability says creatures that have resistance to fire damage take normal damage and like everything gets lowered.
Yep.
this creature itself is resistant to fire damage. Does that mean if you take your own fire damage, you take it as normal damage? Or do you think because it's coming from you, you should actually be able to be resistant to your own fire?
I mean,
I feel the latter.
Lore-wise, you should be
Lore-wise.
resistant to your own fire, but technically, you're right. Technically, by the rules, it would override.
It would override your own.
Oh, applies to everyone. So even yourself.
That's wild. That's
okay.
Wild. I mean, hey,
good balancing. But see, again, add detriments is a better way to balance.
I'm gonna be right back.
And then we have Flare once per minute, an overwhelming burst of plasma flame. Each creature within 60 foot of Luca must make a Constitution save DC 17. On a fail, they take 12d10 fire damage and are blinded and silenced until the end of their next turn. It's a fucking flashbang. On a success, half damage, throw a 1d2, or basically flip a coin. You're either blind. Oh, okay. So you get to save half damage and one of the two effects. 50-50 chance. That's kind of cool. Surprised you called it a flare. I definitely would have called that a flashbang, but it's probably because the name in the game. But okay. Lots of fire damage in this one. Interesting. So this is just all magic. Lots of economy that you have to deal with. I mean, you have some at wills, but 5 per minute, 3 per minute. Definitely a lot of countdowns and counters that you'll have to take into account. But overall, not bad. Not bad. And again, I like that you break out that they're going to only be affected by one, but they're still going to be affected by one. I like that. Even for a save. All right, so moving on to legendary actions. Okay, so we have 3 legendary actions from the options below, only one at a time at the end of another creature's turn. So we have Thermal Sensor. Luca knows the location of all creatures within 60 feet, even if invisible. Love it. That's so cool. Thermal Vision.
I like that a lot. I would like to say, just so that I can kind of picture it a little bit in my mind, it's almost like a pulse that goes out. I would like to hear it say Luca learns the location of each person, but then like if they move or something like that, you don't still know where they're at. You know what I'm saying? Like, how long does this last for? Like, how long do I know where you're at? How long do I have you tracked for?
I would say until the start of their next turn. I would say Luca knows the location of all creatures within 60 feet, or knows the current location.
Sure.
Yes. And then you can even put it in parentheses movement. So thermal, the one that you missed, is an overwhelming burst of plasma flame. Each creature within 60 feet must make a Constitution save DC 17. On failed, they get 12d10 fire damage and are blinded and silenced until the end of their next turn. On a success, they take half damage and are either not blinded or not silenced.
Oh,
50-50 chance.
Interesting. Okay.
Not bad. Cool. I do like the fact that the save
only
still
from ones.
Yeah, but you still get affected by the other. I really think that's
a
good way of interpreting what a save really does.
Sure.
I mean, you don't really get to see many things that have more than one effect, so I think that's a really good way to do it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
All right, so moving on to so thermal sensor. I think we both agree. Current location, just
sure.
That little bit of knowledge. I like what you meant is if they move, how are you going to know? If it's that case, then it should be until the start of Luca's next turn.
Sure.
And then they lose it. Something along those lines. Volatile feedback. Any creature that hits Luca with a melee attack before her next turn takes 2d6 fire damage. We've seen that before. Retaliatory attack damage.
Sure. That's another one where I would lightweight use that every single round unless I'm intentionally trying to use one of the other ones.
Exactly. You should just always have that just on as a
after
backup.
Whoever goes after you, that's who I'm using it on, like instantly.
Because you're just any creature that hits. So it's not the next, which is what you normally see. So I can get hit by all 5 of them, and all 5 of them are going to take the splashback.
Yeah.
That's cool. Recalibrate armor costs 2 actions. Luca gains resistance to the last damage type they took until the start of their next turn.
Wild.
Interesting. So, yeah, you kind of got to know what's going to happen. This could be a play with Chrono, but
like if somebody's like imagine you're fighting like an ice sorcerer, like Hecate's, Ice Monarch or whatever, and you're in the middle of combat with them. Boom! Now I'm resistant to ice or,
Yep.
or cold damage for however long. What does it say until the
To
start?
the start of the next turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. I like that. That's a good way to protect yourself. Man, this is such a like the two different builds here are so crazy. All right, so Tech Rebound costs 2 actions. Reflect the next ranged spell cast at her back to the original caster. Must be 5th level or lower.
Okay. And I'm assuming this is going to be like a single target spell, like you have to be targeted for it.
Yeah, well, it says cast at her. Yeah, so it's very interesting because I don't know. Do you have an idea for this one, Foxer? Like, did you have something in mind for this? Because I'm not sure that there's anything in Kronos's repertoire that would make sense that she would use this on. So to after someone else, like I guess if there's a wizard on the party, and after right before their turn, you might want to activate this just in case you're the target. Because it's after someone's turn that you activate this, and then it's the next spell. So either
it doesn't have a limit on it. So if you just cast this on yourself and just leave it there, it technically will stay up until the next one comes.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's like, was there an intended use for this, or is it just knowing that if the mage is in the party, you're just going to do this before the mage's turn? If it's an AoE, she wouldn't be able to reflect it, but if it's a single target, it forces the attacker to roll the attack save on themselves. Right, yeah. I'm just trying to figure out, like, how would this come up? Like, why would I activate this after someone else's turn? And the only thing I can come up with is I know the mage is coming up, so I'm going to do this in preparation, because I don't know how else would you know someone is going to target you.
Sure.
Unless what Kage said is true, is you just have it on indefinitely. So, okay. And then Emergency Flare. Use Flare at half power, 6d10 fire, 17 con save, half status, and no status effect. Half damage with no status effect. Okay. I kind of like these. These like little recharges.
That is kind of cool.
Ooh, Experimental Device. Cost 3 actions, roll a d20. Ooh. Okay, we have a table here. So we get a different. So she has it because into the next spell. Okay, yeah. So it would just be indefinite until the next spell is on.
Okay.
All right. So D20, we have 20 different effects for this experimental device. We have critical on a D1 or out of a D20 on a roll of 1. Critical malfunction. Luca takes 40 force damage and is stunned until the end of her next turn. I'd like to see, because of how much damage this group can do, I'd like to see that damage increased.
Sure.
I'd really like this to be a little bit more devastating. I know that she has less damage than he does, but that doesn't feel at all devastating. The stun is great, though.
Yes.
Especially because they're resistant to being stunned or normally immune, right?
Yes.
Yes. So this, I'm assuming, overrides the immunity.
Yes, likely because the immunity comes from whatever armor she's wearing.
Yeah, specific over general.
Sure.
Right. All right. So then a chain reaction. Luca and all allies within 30 feet take 6d10 fire damage. Dex save DC 20 for half. Okay. Yeah, especially because if this one is so much damage, I think this has to be way more, especially because it's the critical malfunction and it's a D. I mean, it's basically your crit fail. I don't understand why this is doing more or less damage than this one. You know what I mean? I would almost swap these. This should do at least 60 damage. This should do maybe like a 40-10.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Since it spreads, something like that was what I would probably do.
Sure.
EMP feedback. All magic items and constructs within 60 feet, including allies, are disabled for 1 minute. Save at the end of the turn. Oh, you can save out of it at the end of each turn?
Like save ends. So it's like, each turn you have an opportunity to escape from.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty cool. Smoke cloud. Luca is blinded for 1 minute. DC 17 con save at the end of. Okay, just Luca. Magnetic discharge. Luca is pulled 30 feet towards the nearest hostile creature and cannot move until the end of her next turn. Wow.
That could be bad or that could be good.
I like how some of these aren't great for the caster. Overheat. Luca cannot use her abilities that require charges until the end of her next turn. And takes 15 fire damage. There's got to be some really massive benefits to using this thing,
right? And we've barely got to 10.
Backlash or backblast. Nearest ally within 30 feet takes 40-10 fire, no save.
That's one ally.
considering how much of all of these, I mean, I know that these are all rolls and this is a guaranteed, but I still think this should go up.
Sure.
Voltage Surge. Luca takes 3d10 lightning, and her next ability costs double. At will abilities don't count. I like that. That's a unique way to do that. The next abilities cost double.
Okay.
I like that. That is such a unique way of doing it.
Very nice.
All right, Short Circuit. Luca's AC is reduced by 3 for 1 minute.
Ooh.
Fuck.
That's so bad.
System Delay. Luca's initiative drops to the last place in the round until the end of combat.
To the end of combat. Ooh.
Okay, we got to get some. Luca loses 30 HP. Redundancy alert. Nothing happens. The device fizzles uselessly. 13 heat sink. 13. Oh, so nothing happens.
Oh, that's my fault. I forgot to separate that.
13 heat sink release. Luca regains 2d6 HP. That is not enough. That you're No. If some of these things are up to 40, and I'm like,
yeah.
This just that doesn't feel balanced. That needs to be way more life.
Okay.
At least 2d10, minimum 2d10. Half of you should be able to gain a bare minimum half of what any of these should have taken from you.
Yeah.
At minimum.
I agree with that.
Just otherwise, it just honestly 2d6, like 2d6 in this combat at this stage.
Like, what is that actually giving me?
I mean, like that's a level 15 sneezing on you. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but 16, like 12 HP ain't nothing. That's got to be more. Auxiliary stabilizers. Luca gains 2 AC for 1 minute. I like that one. I like that see, that's a good balance. -3 versus a +2. I love that.
Sure. I do think it should be for less than a minute, so it's not literally changing the entire combat.
That's fair.
But does it say that there's a limit to how often they can use this one?
It costs 3 actions, and it's a legendary. So 3 actions at the end of someone's next turn.
But I can use it every round
if you really wanted to.
Wild.
Let's see. Ignition protocol. All enemies within 20 feet take 46 fire. Dexterity DC 19 for half. Not bad. Okay. Again, it damages allies way more than it does enemies, though, which doesn't make sense. You would think it would be the other way around. I know it's experimental, so
sure.
That's the point. But what's the I know that you're using this against the players, but if a DM were to use this, what's the motivation to use this? Because so far, the detriments are worse than the benefits.
Sure.
So far, I'm not really seeing why I would try.
I was thinking that there was going to be like a good third of them that were detriments and then start getting into the benefits, but it feels like
more than
a little bit over half of them are detriments, and the detriments seem to be larger than the benefits. But depending on how God mode the upper benefits are, could be why it's worth it. For a chance to get something higher. So
let's see. So we got more. Auto repair field. Luca and all allies within 30 feet regain 40 HP. See, that's not bad. It's definitely the bare minimum health I'd like to see for that, but I like that. That's a good one.
I would like to have seen a little bit lower in the numbers, but fair enough.
You want less HP?
No, like earlier in this list. Like it's at number 16.
Gotcha.
I'd like to see it maybe at like 11. You know what I mean?
Yep. Power Surge. Luca's next attack deals the average damage as a minimum. Oh, gotcha. So you
can't roll below the average.
Right. So D10, you're going to do a minimum 5 damage.
Sure.
Gotcha. Okay. That's actually really unique. I like that. It's a very unique idea. Core realignment. Luca immediately ends all negative effects on herself and gains resistance to all damage until the end of her next turn.
Wild.
Okay.
All right.
Combat protocol override. Luca may use one technique for free immediately, regardless of charges or cooldown. Okay.
Sick. So potentially one that you've used the max you've used up, you could use it again.
Yeah. Combat protocol override. No, that was already. And then Techno God protocol. For 1 minute, Luca's fire damage automatically maxes 1 die per creature, and their cooldowns halve for the next minute. Minimum 1. Okay, so all cooldowns are minimized. Interesting. So
cooldowns
1 die.
have. So that means 30 seconds instead of a minute for the majority of them.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I love these effects. I'm just having a hard time understanding like what, like, so we have 1, 2. I mean, all magical items and constructs that could be either. So
Does that include like Warforged and stuff like that?
it just says constructs. So it's 2, 3. We'll say that's neutral. 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll call that one neutral. 8. We'll call that one neutral. So that's positive, 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 positive. Okay. So there's
Just 8?
8 positives, or no, there's 8 negatives, 4 neutrals.
That would make 8.
That
would be 8 positives.
7 positives.
Is it?
Yeah. Right?
8, 4. I thought it was 8, 4, 8. Because they're all even.
Or yeah, so wait, so 40 damage is 1 negative. I'm gonna say, and then I'm gonna say that all items is neutral.
Sure.
Blinded is negative. Hold is neutral, so that's 2 neutrals. Negative, 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 negative. We'll call that one neutral, so that's 3 neutrals. Negative. And then we'll call that one neutral. So that's 8. Yeah, that's 8 negatives. How many was that? 3 neutrals.
It's 3 so far.
And then that's a pot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, no, I miscounted the neutrals. Yeah, so
3 neutrals
4.
and 7. Okay.
So yeah, interesting. I would just say that it is a pretty even split, but I feel like overall the benefits do not outweigh the positives. Therefore,
yeah, because the negatives feel heavier than the positives do.
Because I imagine like the way I would imagine how to balance something like this, even for an encounter, is think about what would happen if this was the prize, if this was loot that the players would pick up. That's how I would go about trying to fine tune this, because even if it's not meant for them, imagine what it would be like in their hands. Would they use it? If you gave this to your players, would they even use it?
Would they ever roll it?
Because if this was like something that you could use once per encounter or once per turn or, whatever, even once every 3 turns, who's going to use it? Like, which one of these 8 benefits is going to be so clutch? And I'm not saying, again, it's not necessarily meant for the players, but that's one of the things I like to do for my encounters is when I look for something to balance out like a weapon and how it's going to be used, like from my point of view, I try to imagine how a player would use it, because that also is how me as the DM would use it in the hands of the enemy.
Yeah, because I mean, theoretically, any NPC could have been a player at one point. Like, they have their own perspective. You're looking at your player character as though you were them. And so these NPCs are obviously looking at their own stats and what they can do as though they were them. So it's like, what type of advantage am I going to get for that? Unless this particular character is just chaotic to the point where it's like, okay, despite the risks, I'm still going to use this. And you're just really trying to play into that character's personality. And so they're going to use it regardless.
It's kind of like the Rod of Wonder. You know what I mean? Like, it's a cool idea, but not a lot of people really want to mess with it for very long. So again, I love the fact that these are not just mirror images where it's not, this one is 40 force damage and this one's 40 life.
Sure.
I love that there is a lot of uniqueness. It really does feel a lot like the experimental device, but I just wish it felt better to use. I felt like there was, for 3 action points, like I would, as a DM, like, I guess looking at this, I would probably say that there's only 1, to three. There's only three effects I truly would care about. Like,
Sure.
like increasing the AC by 2 for a minute. Yes.
Agreed.
Fire damage, maxing out dies per character for creatures being in the battle. Yes. And ending all negative effects and being resistant to damage.
I even like the immediately being able to reuse something regardless of recharge. That one is pretty clutch to me.
But yeah, but to risk 40 damage, 60-10 damage, blinded, no abilities.
I wish the lore on this was even Luca didn't know what he was gonna do, and so they're just like pulling it, and they're like,
and if that's it, if we had more of that, that would be so beautiful. Like, just no one knows what it's gonna do, right?
And I also kind of wish it was a one-time use thing. I wish it was like a device, like you pull like the string on it or something, you throw it out, and something happens, and then it just was done with. Like,
yeah,
like once per battle type deal. Like,
and a lot of these you could easily make a lot of these like do that. You know, Luca permanently loses like 40 HP.
Yeah,
for the
like
battle
from their hitbox maximum or whatever for the rest of combat.
Yeah, like there's a lot here, and I get it. Yeah, that's why it's called experimental. That's why I love how different and unique all of these abilities feel. It's just that, again, when you're trying to make yes, I know it's supposed to be experimental, but it also just I don't know. It just feels like by using this yourself, it's unless the point was that it's supposed to be a campy way of saying, see, I'm going to use this, and this is meant to help balance out the Chronos spell. Like that could be it too. It may be intentionally the monkey wrench, kind of situation. So with that being said, I just don't know when would be a good time to use it.
Yeah,
when are you going to spend 3 actions? Like, it's going to be one of the. I mean, there's just so much other beneficial things to do. I mean, reusing a flare would just be so good.
I really do like the idea of it being once per battle and giving it some more like really valuable things. Like, imagine one of the things is like towards the higher end, it brings both you and your ally back to 100% health. Like,
right.
Like if you had like a really big thing like that to almost like reset things.
It'd be great as you flip a coin. Heads, allies, you and all your allies get fully recovered.
Mm-hmm.
Tails, all enemies get fully recovered.
That would be wild. That would be wild. But like something like that, it would make me feel better at like the fact that that's a possibility that I can get, plus all these negatives are a possibility that I can get, and I'm only going to get 1 per battle. You know, so like it'll suck. But
another way to do it too is drop the cost to 1, put it on like a on D6 roll, and either make it initiative based or round based. Like, you know, if it's round, put it like a D4. If it's initiative, put it like a D6. So you can, at the cost of 1 action, pull the string on the experimental device, and 1d4 rounds or 1d6 initiatives, like, you know, however you want to roll that, it'll go off, and a random effect will happen. That way, it's never immediate. It's kind of one of those, I'm gonna rip and pull, and I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know when it's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen.
You know what?
But you don't waste all of your action economy. The battle still continues. But this thing's just throwing those monkey wrenches to everyone every couple rounds.
You know what I feel like would make this a million times more dynamic, and it's one, and you wouldn't have to change anything else. You can only land on something once. Like
gotcha.
Once you roll it, that thing is lined out, and you can't roll it again. And so, if you don't change anything else about it, you're just gradually going.
So here's another way to do that. So we take that idea. You can only roll one thing once. Then instead of this being a actionable, what if this is just at the start of battle, it's activated, or, you know, the first time it's basically, there's a way where, you know, it's like, oh, experimental machine, go. And then every 1d4 round. So you roll a d4 at the start of battle. And if it's a 1, it's that round. And if it's a 2, you know, and then basically from then on, every time it goes off, you roll another d4.
And that's
so every d4 rounds it goes off, and it will automatically go off. It's a random effect, because I like, See, the fact is right now it doesn't feel right for the battle because no one in their right mind, knowing what it could do, would use it. Right? It just doesn't make any sense. But if it were one of those experimental machines where no one knows when it's going to go off or what it's going to do, it just gets activated at the beginning of combat. It's kind of like an environmental who knows it. It could just suddenly heal
player
you.
action kind of.
Yeah, it would just suddenly heal you or suddenly wouldn't. No one has control over it. It's purely in the background as more of an environmental effect than it is an actual ability. I would potentially do that. Or another option, have like what you mentioned before, have a way for the players to activate it.
Okay.
Like, as in, if you're within melee combat, you can forego an attack and do a DC check and activate the experimental device on Luca.
Press a button. Yeah.
And so the roll would happen, but
you see like a grapple check or some shit.
But maybe you force Luca to take 40 points of damage because you activated it. So so those are my two options. Is either this is just something that's always on, and every couple rounds it's going to go off because that feels more fun. And I don't know why anyone would activate this on purpose. The only other option is to let the players have an actionable thing that they can do, like a grapple check or something, that they can activate it on Luca.
Sure.
Because there are benefits to both sides, it makes more sense to give both teams a way to use it. Hell, you can even put this thing in the middle of the fucking room, and anybody who gets to it can activate it for that round, and then they can move away.
Interesting.
I love the concept of this. I just, as it's written, I don't know why anyone in their right mind would turn it on.
Sure.
If you knew what it did, right? If this was just a completely random thing, fine. But why would Luca ever turn this on? Like, unless it's in the lore, Luca has no idea what it's going to do. And if they don't, the only downside is that we don't have any lore to begin with. So there's really, it's a lot to extrapolate from how to make it make sense in a battle. But that would be my two suggestions, because I like the oddities. I like the way that it doesn't just mirror itself on both sides. But I need more of a reason for this to be in the battle. I need more of a reason for this thing to be activated at a certain time.
Sure.
But otherwise, really interesting, really cool. And then we still have the duo techniques, techniques.
We got a couple of these dual techniques.
All right. So the dual techniques, how to use. Both Chrono and Luca must be conscious and able to act. Okay. So they can't be incapacitated, stunned, whatever. Both must spend the required charges. Okay. And these count as magical attacks, even for the physical components. Okay.
Got you. Okay.
Awesome. So we have Fire Whirl. Okay, gotcha. So Chrono activates Cyclone at 1 per round, and Luca activates Flamethrower, and we get Fire Whirl.
Wild.
So an area of 20 feet radius centered on Chrono. Okay, so I think in Marvel Rivals.
Yeah.
He starts to spin. She throws the fire. Column of fire. There, because that's like Storm and Hidden Torch.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Save, deck save DC 19. Each enemy in range takes 4d8 plus 7 slashing, plus 4d6 fire damage. Unsave half. Or unsave takes half. Chrono spins with fire, swirling around him, burning and slicing all nearby foes. Area 20 foot. So that goes beyond his normal one, which is 10 feet. Has a DC of 19. And there are no other normally there are no other saves, so that's kind of cool.
On the fire.
Oh, Flamethrower DC 19. That has to be because it's a combo. You've got to make it a harder DC. Like, especially if DC was her normal DC save,
sure.
This has got to be bumped up because it's a duo thing, right? Like, it's got to be harder to defend against, especially because we're not doing outrageous amounts of damage here.
My question is this: if these two characters wanted to use this particular ability, is it like, regardless of who's first, each on their own turns does that respective thing? And
I think it's more on, like, in this particular case, because it's centered on Chronos and Chronos spins, I would probably put up here Fire Whirl required on Chronos' turn. So they both have to be able to act. They both have to spend the amount for both of these, but it has to be, like, in this particular case, I would say it has to be on Chronos' turn.
So you could so
he would activate Cyclone and then say, hey, I'm tag teaming my ally. We're going to do Fire Whirl together.
Depending on what's happening. So would it cost like a reaction from the other person, or could they just do it even if they've already had their turn and even if they've already used all their actions.
Well, so they have to be able to act and they have to have the points. So if she spent all of her actions that turn, then if it was her turn first and she spent all of her points, she wouldn't be able to reactivate it. If it's his turn first, he's preemptively spending her points.
If we're looking at Chronos, his Cyclone costs how much? Is it just one?
Chrono, his is one per round. So he can just do this once per round. But for her, Flamethrower is at will. So technically for both of them, they could just do this.
So
whenever.
imagine Chrono went first. Chrono did 2 Dream Seekers on his turn, but he still theoretically has one available spot left to do a Cyclone. He saves it. It's now Luca's turn, and he has that available. He's able to act, and so he can use that ability on her turn. I would say that because of the complexity of this particular encounter, yes, I would allow that. I don't know if it would ever be used that way. Sure.
But yes, I would say as a DM, there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to let him pause. Now, granted, why you would do that? If you know you're going to do it, why?
But I mean, that's kind of what they're doing. They're supposed to be able to work together and do all that.
But I mean, strategically, they're like even on a mechanical basis. Sure. I'm not really sure why you would wait to do that. But yes, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to, depending on whoever went first. I think that as long as they can both do it, either of them can activate it.
Gotcha.
There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do it. I could see an argument for specifically saying only Kronos can do this on his turn. But
sure,
however, I mean, it's a combo. As long as they have the availability and as long as they already haven't used it this round, they should be able to do it. Like I use both of my frenzies and then Fire Whirl so that so like the players can't run away. Okay, yeah. So just trying to stack this as best you can.
Got you. Cool. No, I like that. I think that's way cool.
All right, so we got Fire Sword, which would cost Cleave and the Fire Spell. One target within melee range of Chrono. Melee spell attack by Chrono with a +12, a 6d10 slashing damage plus 68 fire damage. Luca imbues Chrono's blade with magic fire as he delivers a devastating single blow. Excuse me.
Wild. Imagine doing that on one of those prone targets or one of those sleeping targets.
Yeah, that's on the cleave too. Whew.
Ouch.
And I like that it's not really doing anything to the basic attack. It's really just adding the fire damage to it.
Sure.
So it's just more of an imbuement.
I totally love that they just get to I desperately think more I would love it if PCs had stuff that they could do like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The you can combo with the sorcerer, you can combo with the fighter, stuff like that.
That's 100% what I try to accomplish in High Point is being able to synergize, not just because, I know you can do this and I can do this, so let's make it work together. But that synergizing of, I have this ability that's not really that great, but can I use it in conjunction with something that you can do and make it better, right? And I feel like 5th edition really stops that kind of creativity because everything's just so super concrete. You have to work within so many bounds. But kind of like this, an at-will ability imbued into someone's weapon. Why not? Why isn't that more available? Why can't I target someone's weapon with, Flame Bolt?
Sure.
Or Eldritch Blast and give that weapon an imbuement of something, right? Just even at one time, even being able to one time even if it was a feat where you could imbue a weapon with a cantrip and make it count as magical once.
Sure.
For one attack.
Imagine if I just use shape water to freeze water around an arrowhead and you do cold damage with that arrow. Yeah,
just something like that's the kind of stuff that in High Point you can absolutely do because it makes sense to do it like that. You know what I mean? So sure. I'm all about that. All right. And then the last one is Fire Sword 2. So it requires Frenzy and Fire 2. 20-foot radius around a point within 60 feet. Dex save DC 19. Effect. Each creature in the area takes a 8d10 plus slashing plus 10d8 fire damage. On a save, half damage. Description. Chrono dashes in a blur, striking targets in succession as Luca detonates a magical fire in their wake.
Wild. That's kind of cool.
All right. Interesting because Frenzy is one attack, one target 4 times. So this one is each creature in a 20-foot radius around a point. Now, see, this is interesting though. Around a point within 60 feet. So this is like he basically just like dashes upwards instead of being his normal frenzy, which is at an ally or at a melee range. This one is he just bolts somewhere and then just fucks him up.
Yeah, it's almost like all those attacks, instead of going to one person, is just going to as many people around him as possible.
It's like a barrage.
That's crazy.
So I'm loving the dual techniques is probably my favorite part about this.
Yeah,
like, blending them together, this has to be my favorite part.
That gives me so many ideas for like what to do with actual characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I will definitely say that we're going to get the inspiration point, but there's definitely a lot to be said for the state at which, again, Chrono is built is very difficult to justify for a lot of different reasons.
He's definitely strong when it comes to just his straight physical stats.
And I mean, we knew this going in because that's where, we always have to make sure that we remind everybody that the ranking system isn't about quality, it is about compatibility.
Sure.
So, right off the bat, we will have to keep in mind that there are a couple of things that will take points off right away. Things like, already established IPs, just because I can't use those in High Point. Well,
sure,
I can because I do use, that, but creating something off of an IP kind of doesn't get as much creativity points. So that usually goes a point off just because it's the IPs that I put into High Point are much more selective and much more specific. So that's kind
of
a
lot of the modifications that you do to it to make it work in your world are very specific. So
yeah. But I will say that it doesn't lose the comparison point though, because a lot of times when you go off of an IP, if it's just basically a one-to-one without really understanding the TTRPG you're bringing it into, that usually loses a point. But I don't think that's what happened here.
Agreed.
It definitely feels like it was taken into account that we were going into an actual TTRPG. So we won't lose that point. But again, the main part of it being already an established IP, it also seems to be much more focused on I don't want to say a setting specific, but it is situational. It is very much like targeted at a type of group.
Yeah, like a min-max. Yeah.
So it's not really universally open. So I do have to take that into account. Like I would not I would not be thumbing through a monster manual and say, oh, this is an encounter I'm going to do. So yeah, so beyond that, there are a couple other issues with balancing, and without any lore or like anything behind it, I won't really be able to work with that too much. Like, as is, High Point just doesn't accept things like this without a lot of explanation.
Sure.
So I'd have to do too much in order to do that. And then there's just a couple little things here and there that I would adjust just how it works. But overall, I'm extremely interested in how these dual abilities work. I'm fascinated by how well these two characters need each other on the battlefield. Like we've seen pairs that work well because of their abilities, but don't need each other. This feels so much like if you take down one, you've basically won. And I like when that happens.
Dramatically changing the fight, for sure.
So I will give it definitely the inspiration point for sure, because there's a lot in here that opens it up. It's a very big challenge to take the rest of this in. I'm almost wondering if this should be more of like a showcase but we haven't really done showcases in a long time. Like kind of,
I mean, yeah, but what was the other encounter that we did recently?
What did I give Magus, by the way? I'm trying to think, because
where is Magus? Couldn't have been that long ago.
No, it was only like 2 or 3. We haven't done that many. What happened to Magus?
Oh, there it is. Okay,
that's 7. Magus got a 7.
Yes,
okay. That would make more sense.
But let me see. There you go. So I do agree. There's definitely elements, but I like the idea of this being like an encounter, like being a like, again, initially my thought process is, okay, this is just a creature, but you're kind of right. It's not just a creature because it's not something that you can necessarily just thumb through and put in your game wherever you feel like, right?
Mhm.
This belongs in a place. This belongs here. So this is like more than more than anything, like the environment you put it in is just as important as the stats that are included with it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
Yeah, I think I'll take that into account. I think the fact that it serves a purpose and it does what it set out to do, even though this may not be universally acceptable. What I will say is that for a build that is set on accomplishing something, I will take that into account because even though I wouldn't be able to use this like compatibility wise directly in High Point, the fact is that its structure is much more in line. It would be different if Foxer was coming up and being like, "Oh no, this is just a cool NPC that I just wanted to throw in," and like yeah, this is just a new type of like artificer.
sure,
Like
sure,
like
sure.
like if this was just trying to be a super serious like no, this is just a thing that exists, I'd probably be a lot harsher. But because it's self-aware, it knows what it's trying to do, it knows the party that it's trying to challenge, and it knows like there's so much.
It's outlined its purpose.
Yes, and there's so much good going on with the layering that I do have to take that into account. Where even though it's less usable in High Point, the structure of it is more or less what I would use.
Sure, sure.
So I will take that into account as well. So yeah, because I mean, really, there's a lot of things that I would have to adjust, which would normally knock it really low. But I like what it's doing for the reasons it's doing it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's the difference, right? Is normally if this was trying to be super serious, like, oh, this would just be another attack, I'd be like, no, none of this works. I'd have to change almost everything. But it's if I were trying to accomplish something similar, this is a somewhat of the direction I would
Yes,
go. So I have
yes.
to give that the benefit. So I will go down the road and give this one a 5. I
Okay.
would probably say that it was probably closer to a 4 with the inspiration point, meaning compatibility wise, like as is, it's probably around a 2 or a 3, just because Chrono is just way too overpowered and there's absolutely no lore that explains it.
Sure.
So that just makes it less compatible. But the structure of how these two work together and the structure for challenging players of that magnitude is there. The synergy is there, the layering is there, and that's the kind of stuff that I like to see when I'm putting putting these things together. So that level is compatible with High Point,
Sure.
just not the specific. So I don't think that it's too far to say that with the benefits and with how unique this is, yeah, it's more or less just I need a lot more of the understanding of the why before I could really start to say that this has a chance seeing its way in High Point.
Sure, sure. Okay. No, I
But
vibe
again,
with that.
that's not to downgrade or say that it's not a good build. Again, that is completely just a compatibility thing with my personal setting. But otherwise, I do want to absolutely highlight not just the synergy of how well these two work together, but how well they were built to work together. How much these two need to be on the battlefield together, right? This is not like
Yes.
you're not just gonna run into one of these two and start a fight. Like they are designed, and I can even imagine if these are NPCs, they're not gonna start anything one-on-one. They're gonna
Yeah,
get
yeah.
you
They're
lured
rolling around
away
together. Yes.
Yeah. If one's caught alone, they're gonna work their way into an ambush. Like there's no way that these two don't synergize away from each other. So I like that. You do believe that the next pair? Well, I'm super excited. So we've done a couple different ones. So yeah, so we got that one. So thank you again so much for that. I hope you enjoyed the review, and I hope you enjoyed everything that we said. Take it with a grain of salt because we're not professionals by any means. We're just two dudes on the internet. So hopefully that gave you some cool ideas. But if it didn't, hey, you know what? If it even just got you to agree with what you already wrote, that's even cool too. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining us today. That's going to be it for this review. Join us next week for more D&D content. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Cheers.
Deuces, my friends.
yeah, no, this is really interesting in how well they work. But yeah, so we've now seen the first encounter, which is crazy because I was just looking over Magnus again, and like, yes, he has more health, but this almost seemed a little bit of a beefier fight.
Really?
But I think it's just, I think it sounds beefier until you realize that Chrono really has his weakness, which is Luca. Like, Chrono is beefy, but Luca's nothing. So either you all focus Chrono, take him out, and then Luca's a breeze, or you wipe her off the map and make him focus on keeping her up.
Right.
Like,
Because he does have the ability to bring her back at least twice.
Yeah, and I feel like he's going to be a good fight without her. She'll be nothing without him, though.
I do very much feel that. I do very much agree with that.
But yeah, so now we have that one, and then we have the final one. So I'm really curious to see how that progresses. What it's going to be like. Is it going to be like short rest, long rest? Is it going to be multiple fights in a row? Right. Like how is that going to?
So there will be. So there was this pair. There are 2 additional pairs, that are going to be the 2 stages before you get to Magnus. Let me see if I can find what they are.
Yeah, and I do like that you put the fact that like you didn't shy away from friendly fire in that build. That's another big issue that we see a lot is there's times where builds are made in such a way that doesn't allow, like they're basically afraid to do damage to allies, right?
Sure.
So, all of these guys work together, but they all have immunity to the damage that they do, right? So it's like you can't possibly hurt each other. I like the fact that even the DM is involved in this combat, and it's not just trying to do the most damage. The DM is actually thinking about it,
and I would
it's a good build.
I would have even played it into it a little bit more, like when you give him advantage on deck saves, like also give him resistance to fire damage, like that actually works for the thing, or give him immunity so he only gets resistance or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Just so that like it feels like they play together super well. So it's like he's able to actually survive because shoot, even normal damage, Luca could eat through a lot of Chrono's HP.
Yeah, if you're not positioning them properly.
Yeah, like because he's meant to be a melee character. He's meant to be up there. He's got a 10-foot reach, but that's really it. He's got some magical spells that he can do from far away, but those are always limited. He's only got 1 per round that he can use. But his bread and butter is going to be those physical attacks, being able to combo that.
He needs to be up close and personal, but being able to disengage, just being able to be up close and personal, back out, possibly get a little bit of healing. I mean, we did not see a lot of healing though. There was not a lot of potential healing outside of him reviving Luca.
Yes.
So that's also going to be
Luca's got a little bit, but still.
I mean, some good rolls, some good hits. It could be a quick fight, but it could also be a slog. It just really depends on those rolls. And man, that sleep. Oh, putting everyone to sleep,
that's wild.
That's
rough. That's wild.
It's rough, but it's cool. So yeah, I'm really interested. Seems like it's going to be a fight, long rest and fight. So long rest in between each one, which is always good. And nice little reset.
Okay, nice.
I will say that a lot of people that I've seen do fights in series, one of the aspects I don't see them plan out very well, and I will say as a DM who's tried to do this many times, it's very difficult. Most DMs don't try, and I know why, because it's hard. But you don't see DMs synergize multiple encounters back to back, in the sense of a lot of times when you do this, you see them they'll put like a short rest. They'll put like, there'll be a fight and then a short rest, a fight, then a short rest, then I'll do a fight and then a long rest, right?
Sure.
But more often than not, you're just like, what were you thinking? 2 short rests? Like 3 fights, 2 short rests? What are you talking about, right? It's very rare you see a DM who properly planned out how many fights can my party do back to back? And can you plan fights to where they can win without blowing all of their abilities,
all their resources,
and will they try? Because that's another type too. Like, not if you're in a party or if you're playing with players who are all about overkill. If it's like 3 goblins appear, fireball, chain lightning, power word kill. Like if they're just blowing their top spells every fight because they're just like, guy, we're powerful. Who cares? Like we're just gonna take them out. Like they do their spells and then I do power word kill. Every fight's over. it's harder to do multiple fights with those kind of people, or maybe that's the challenge, is you guys got to learn. But when you have a party that does look at each fight as strategic and properly planned out, it can be done, but it's very difficult to know your players that well to figure out how can you do more than one fight without giving them time in between. And are they ready for that kind of a challenge? Like, are they, it's one of those things. I've tried to do it so many times, but it's hard. It's really hard to judge.
It's crazy because, like, as a player who's been put in scenarios like that before, where I've been DMs have just given me like back to back to back fights, and I'm like, bro, how are we really, like, roll initiative again, guys? Roll initiative. Hey, you walked into another roll initiative. I'm like, am I really, like, because my mindset, I'm always trying to ration my materials, ration my whatever stuff that I have, so that I make sure that I'm not like just on cantrips when I'm on the hardest fight, because usually the hardest fight's gonna come last. And if you blow your load, so to speak, like early, then you're not gonna have anything to use. So I'm always trying to cautiously use as minimal as possible, make sure I have an opportunity to get it back if it's something that I use, like whatever the case may be. But at the same time, a lot of the times, like, I will hold on to it for so long that I never use it. Even the time when it would have been most valuable for me to use it, I'm like hiding away from using it. I'm trying not to use it just so that I can save it just in case. And I'm like, I really do hate that feeling of like never feeling like I'm free to use my abilities. So like having a better idea, and I think that that's more of a communication that you should have with your players, or at the very least, for me as a DM, I like to just feel out my players and see what like keeps their interest, because a lot of DMs think the only thing that's gonna keep their players' interest is combat. A lot of DMs are like, well, so it's definitely a hard balance to have. So I agree that I think more often we should look into what type of resources I'm trying. Like, I love the idea when I've put my players through like a battle and they've used almost all their spells and they're really low on hit points, but they made it out alive. Like, I love that feeling when I almost forced them to.
It's a great feeling, except when it's every battle.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like every single time is a little bit much. Foxer, remind me a little bit. I do remember that you weren't doing any like massive, like, because it was vanilla D&D, but I'm really curious, what you did mention them having some specialties, but I don't remember any of the extra rules that you had brought up in the last stream. Lots happened since then. But yeah, remind us, if you can, what some of those extra specialties are, just any of those extra rules, because there was actually a list. Yeah, send those to me again so I can kind of refresh, because that'll be helpful on the future ones too. And we'll retry it.
If I can find a spot, I will collect those, and I'll actually put those on the write-ups so that you can see, hey, this is what applies to this. At the very bottom of each one of those today, I was like, hey, you can go over to the dual techniques down at the bottom. I'll like put a little blurb just above that, just saying like, hey, this is for a group of min-maxers that have been received these types of things, just so people can kind of be aware.
Gotcha. Yeah, that would be good, because if we can add that, then when you submit the other ones, we'll be able to have that specifically. Oh, it's in it's a whole Google Drive too.
Oh, then I probably already have it.
Could be. Let me take a look. Yeah. Do I remember reading this? Oh no. Did you send this previously? I don't remember this.
Where was it sent?
I just got this as where was this? This is in the homebrewing section. Oh wow. Okay, we might have to actually do this separately. So they get their own legendary actions or abilities.
Oh yes.
Interesting.
Yes. Okay, I do remember this.
Last stand, defy death.
I do remember this.
Crisis point when all. Okay. You know what? We might just do this as like a standalone concept
Do you
of
kind of want to insert this before we finish the rest of them, so we have a better idea going through the rest of them?
yeah, this is
Kinda what?
just this concept though of adding like basically it's adding player legendary actions, a like a defy death or like a last stand rule, and a crisis point, which kind of feels like a heroic action to me.
Okay.
I would be down to like actually just go over this on stream if you are down for that, Foxer, because this is kind of a cool concept for
Do you want to treat it like a homebrew review, or do you
be
wanna
more like a showcase
type
yeah
deal?
just like a way to add. Oh yeah, no, this is great. And then there's another legendary points, and then legendary more point. Yeah, no, this is dope. I would absolutely go over this because there's like a whole point system in here for like a buy system. Yeah, that would be
Okay.
cool.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
So it's in homebrew discussion.
Mhm.
Oh, that's where it was. Yeah, where you guys are already talking. So if you want to grab that, and yeah, we can do that as its own like write up or own review.
Okay, yeah,
on Monday.
I'll insert that into your rotation, Foxer. So that'll probably be the next one we do before the next pair. That way we can kind of get a good foundation of what we're looking at and what these players, what these encounters are going to be up against, i.e., the players, when these are happening in the future. So I think that's very cool. Let me actually make a note of that.
Perfect. Awesome. Oh, okay. So I think it got sent to you when we were doing Magus, but probably just didn't get involved. Yeah, no, that's awesome.
It's probably in the submissions channel. That's
I
where it's
would,
at.
and I don't check the submission channel.
Yep.
But no, I will absolutely would love to go over that. That seems really cool. So yeah, we'll definitely add that to the review, so that way we'll have more insights. Plus, I think that just sounds cool. Just adding those options, I think that's definitely a showcase for a homebrew adaptation that people can use. So, hell, maybe it might even just be a review. Doesn't need to be a showcase. I mean, those can be used by anybody. Like adding legendary actions for players. Like, that's just a mechanic. So that'll be a mechanical review.
Yeah.
And we haven't done one yet. We haven't really done a mechanical review yet.
I think there was one where we did. Well, I mean, that was kind of an add-on, the permafrost. But there was there was
a condition.
The what was the thing that Cosmics did? The double something. He got a 10%.
Oh, double or nothing. That was a feat.
Yeah. That
was a feat.
That's as close to a.
Yeah, but this is an actual mechanic though. I like that. So I will do it. I think he has it now, so he'll just.
No, I've had it before. I wanted to, because not all of the things actually have names attached to them, and like identifying what you're referring to based upon like its name versus just what it's about. So now that I know what we're talking about, I'm putting a note in today's episode where I'm going to go back through and basically write this up just like it would be any normal review. And yeah,
we'll
put
take
it
care
in
of
there
it.
as like a rule set. But yeah, I'm going to add it into your rotation.
Sweet. That's dope. I like that. That's going to be a cool mechanic to review. And again, I think that just breaks the monotony a little bit of this. So that'll be cool. Thank you so much. We will add that to as one of your submissions. And it looks like Soul says that we have one of their bosses coming up for review. So another encounter coming up.
Is that what's next for Soul?
I don't know. They said that they saw the schedule and it said something about their boss next. So I don't know.
Oh, that's right. The what is it? Sui Guinness?
Sweet Guinness? Sweet Guinness?
I'm going to be checking that out pretty soon. So, yeah. Yeah, that's a hefty boy. That's a hefty boy. Let's get it.
Gonna be a big day. Gonna be a big review.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Yep.
All right, cool. All right, well, that brought us to 3 hours. That was pretty good. Thank you so much for that. That was a really bitchin' review. I like that. I thought you did see the rules from last time, but I realized you didn't. Yeah, that probably would have helped a little bit. I mean, yeah, no, Magus I think was I felt like more balanced for a D&D encounter. I think that's what this one just hit a little bit different, and it felt a little bit askew from the standard, but knowing what the players can do, I think will be a big difference. Now, honestly, I don't know how that would affect the compatibility, but it may just change our ideology of how to approach these combats.
Right.
knowing that the players can do all of that. I'm also just really curious too now, just to see how the players developed those. You know what I mean? Like what they actually did with them.
Oh, like what their what do you call it? What their builds would look like.
Yeah, and just how they use their own legendary actions and things like that. I'd like to see some examples. But yeah, no, I don't have anything else. That's pretty much it. We have our first bio unlock.
Yeah,
Right,
very
down there
nice.
finally. And yeah, that'll just keep happening. Eventually, I'll have the
website to put it all
website
on.
to put on it. Yeah, that'll
Yep,
be
yep.
that's all coming end of summer. I am still trying to figure out one-shot rivals. The playability is going to probably push this into a August launch time.
Oh, like how
we're actually going to be able to actually play.
Like,
so
they're going to be able to interact with it.
I am hoping by next week, by the end of next week. So I'm hoping by next Friday. So the 1st of June. Yeah. So a week from Friday, I will probably do a stream where we talk about the final bits and pieces, like how it will all work.
Maps and stuff like that.
Actual play testing probably won't happen until August.
Okay.
So
still, that's a pretty decent timeline.
Yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks. I mean, we like to see you sooner than that, but I mean, if you're just going to wait for, years, that's okay. We have a lot of people that do that. Well, we only have one. We have one person that only comes for the reviews.
That's kind of fair.
But that's fine. It's fine. You show up for what you like to show up for. That's cool. But yeah, that's it. We have, I think we'll be bringing back the community streams next month.
Yes.
So
Yes,
June,
yes.
we won't have one for June. Or no, we had technically the subathon. We won't have one in August, but August 1st. So next Friday, we will start up for earning them again.
Okay.
And we will go back to having them, back in September. We'll probably do a specialty one next month because next month is our 1-year affiliate. So we already did the subathon, but we'll probably do something like some kind of fun little thing. But other than that, yeah, we're going to be back on our Monday, Friday schedule. I'm still going to be popping up for some game streams every now and again. We have all of our, normal ideas. So, keep an eye out on the Discord, keep an eye out for polls and everything like that. So you can let us know. And of course,
what's going on.
Don't forget the sub wall is up and it will be hung up behind me, but the sub wall is here. It is official. So anybody that subs will get their name on there. If you make it 12 months, you'll get a highlight like Hecate. And if we find any other reasons to do specialty badges, we'll do all of that. But did you sub or when did you sub or did you get gifted one? Because we don't do the gifted subs. It has to be that you subbed. And it wasn't on the subathon. So yeah, because this started at the subathon. So it's kind of like everything since the subathon will be added. But yeah. Can't add everybody who gets gifted one because then basically everybody would be on there eventually. But yeah, basically from here on out, anybody who subs for themselves gets their name up there. And then if you go 12 months, you'll get the highlight. And then there's got to be other things that we can do. You know what I mean? Like if someone does like, maybe like a big like gift or something, maybe maybe we'll get like the, you said like the POW surrounding.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, here's how it is. So if you sub, you'll get your name on here. If you go 12 months, you'll get the highlight. If you gift something like 10 subs, if you do like a gifting 10 subs all at once, we could do like the big
POW or whatever.
like that, like the big
cartoon.
Yeah. We could do something like
comic
that.
Book.
We'll come up with things as they pop up, but yeah, we'll definitely have more because I've always wanted something like this in the background to have interactive. So I also thought about adding some of the subathon stuff to channel points over time.
Okay, well, like Bean Boozled and all that.
Bean Boozled, sour challenges, the hair, the temporary hair dye, some dumb stuff that would be worth like more interaction. People could be able to
Stuff
actually like do.
People would think is fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I might have to figure all that out, but it's just everything's a project now. I still haven't even cleaned up the Discord. I mentioned that like a year ago that I was going to clean up the Discord and the onboarding process, but
when it be like, I feel like there are certain things that can wait. Like, and if the Discord gets big enough where like having a good influx process is like super necessary because we're having like the high turnover that's going to need that. Sure, make it a higher priority, but I honestly think some of the projects that you're working on now are a good place for your attention to get us moving where we're trying to go. So
I can only hope. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the thing about all of this is you can only hope that we're doing the right things and moving in the right direction. Well, it's like right as in, forward progress. I mean, we're definitely miles away from where we were, even a year ago.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
Just it's like you want to do all the things that you're supposed to do as a streamer and as a YouTuber. You think about merch, but I'm like, who wants to, like, what do we like? We don't have anything, right? We don't have stuff yet that's really going to be like buyable other than our logo, which I still haven't even finalized yet. And then we have our little avatars, but like how that's not really merch in my opinion, right? Like that's not quite the same as profitable merch, or at least valuable quality merch. Seems just more like I love the ideas of doing our stickers for our little avatars.
Stickers, yes,
but I don't want like a T-shirt with my like that's shit, like what is that? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's not.
I mean, like eventually, like just the emotes, probably not. But like if it was like a MGS shirt with our emotes like underneath it or something like that.
Well, like when I get like when I get our actual logo design with like the emotes being able to like back to back, like doing like like that would be a cool T-shirt or sweatshirt, right? But that's what I mean is like I don't know. There's that idea. There's the website, which I don't have anything to put on the website, so it's like the least of my priorities.
Sure,
it's stuff like that. And besides, who goes to a website of a streamer anyway? Like I want a website mainly to just hold a few items. But who goes to a website for streamers? Like
I feel like we are more than just streamers in the sense that like a lot of people who provide content also stream. And I think that's kind of what we are, is like we're somebody who, yes, we stream, but we also provide like this content for people. We provide a place for you guys to submit your homebrew. We provide a place for you guys to see a lot of the creations that we've built. We provide a place for you guys to, interact with High Point and like ask questions and do things like that. So it's like all these things are like a lot of people will have a Patreon. A lot of streamers will have Patreons, and that's theoretically like their own website doing the same type thing, so
that's true. I mean, that's kind of what we're going to, eventually work up to is a membership kind of thing. So
yeah. So I don't think it's a terrible idea, but I think it'd be very cool.
Well, we want to see it. Foxer, send us the final boss. Sure, of course we'll review it.
Heck yeah, we will.
Especially if they almost died. Of course, yeah, that makes it even juicier. I don't know, man. I just I love what we do. It's one of those things where I want to see it continue to grow.
Yeah.
As long as we continue to grow, it doesn't have to be explosive growth. Be nice to see some growth.
Yeah.
But we will continue. OSR is right around the corner. I think that's going to be big. I think that's going to be huge. I think OSR is going to be just like my goal is like not just to like most people would be like, oh, I want to be the top, like that the top streamer in the D&D category is that Naruto like MMO TTRPG thing. Like most people would be like that, right? Like, oh, I want to be the top streamer in TTRPGs, or I want to be the top streamer in Marvel Rivals. Like, what would be success for me with OSR? Like, what would be pipe dream success? Like blow my mind. I can't fucking believe it. Success is to get a cease and desist from Marvel themselves. like think about this. If we go live with this, no one's going to give two shits about what we're doing. Like, how many people do. Sure. But if we got to the point to where it got popular, viral in any way, to the point to where Marvel was like, hey, you can't do that. Like, that would be success. Is not some fictitious money amount that we get from it, not some viewer count. The fact that we pissed them off enough to be like, hey, you guys are making money off of my shit. Don't. Like that, like the only step beyond that would be them calling up and being like, hey, can we turn this into a real thing? Like, can we package this? Can we work with you to actually make this a legitimate game that like Jackbox games people can go buy and play?
I'm curious.
Those would be those are my two pipe dream successes.
That would be wild. That'd be wild. I'm curious who would come to you first for it, Marvel or Wizards?
Well, they would have nothing to do with Wizards though, because at this point it would be there's nothing D&D related to it at this point.
I mean, theoretically, yeah. It's
a turn-based game that has nothing to do with. I mean, again, like they don't have. We're not using any of their classes. We're not using any of their proprietary mechanics.
They're creatures, not classes or characters that you're building.
Yeah, but again, the terminology is like, but Wizards doesn't own the term creature.
No, exactly. But that's the thing. Like, but even if they're not trying to come after you for like stealing their name, but like come after you for saying, hey, we would like to use this.
Probably Marvel. I doubt Wizards or anything like that would ever give a shit about something like this. This would be the people would want to keep the game with their IP and not because we can turn this game into anything. But the fact that we modeled it after all of the characters of Marvel, I could see a parallel universe where someone at them sees it and goes, actually, that's a packageable game. Like we could package this and make money off of giving people a way to play turn-based Marvel Rivals. And if we come up with all of the structure and all they have to do is, I mean, they're going to send it to their team and upscale it by 1 million.
But that's what I mean.
But if they buy like the package,
Wizards doing that because they wanted to do the same thing with Rick and Morty. They wanted to do the same thing with Star Wars. They wanted to do the same thing.
But that's buying IPs. They're not buying games. They were buying like the right to make a TTRPG off of those IPs. So they would be the ones to go to Marvel and be like, we want to make an IP off of you.
Sure.
I don't think that they would ever want to buy a turn-based game off of someone else's IP. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah,
that's where fair. I think like it's more about Marvel being like, hey, this is all based on our characters. But I think more or less for them, it's more likely we'd get a cease and desist. Like it's more likely they would be like, stop using the likenesses of our characters. You're making money and you're not allowed. Because realistically speaking, if they wanted the idea, they just steal it and make it better. And secondly, they probably already have a mobile game that's more, because you got to think, it's not so much whether or not it's a good idea, it's whether it's profitable.
Sure.
For them, their mobile game that's 3 times as diluted as OSR probably makes them billions of dollars. OSR probably wouldn't make them jack shit. Like, that's why it's a pipe dream that it would be cool if someone at Marvel was like, hey, it's illegal that you're doing this, and instead of a cease and desist, how about $100,000 and we call it our game? Like, that's what I mean by not like we're gonna be like, rich and famous, but more of a, so either we cease and desist you and you never do this again, or we buy it from you and you never do it again. Like that's those would be cool pipe dreams, but let's face it, I don't think either of those are likely to happen. I think it'll be a fun little game that we play for a while, but that would be success.
I could totally see like, do you think those Naruto people are ever going to get a cease and desist from Naruto? No. But they're pretty popping. That's my point. Like,
that's what I'm saying. That's why I did that. Like the fact that, that's why I say it's a pipe dream. It's more of a, like, yes, we'll probably, if we make money off it, that'd be great. But catching Marvel's attention off of something that you made to, like, when I talk about true success, like, yes, I want to make money off it. That's successful. But getting their attention with something that I made or something that we made, and them being like, hey, that's actually like, it's a different type of validation. Our attention.
It's worth us coming over here and like saying, hey, we saw you doing this thing. We're gonna need you to handle that. In one way, shape, or form.
And that's why it's you can have your own fans, but then to be recognized by the industry. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's that thing. It's that thing. What's going on, Foxer? We'll end it with your question. So what's going on?
Ask away.
But yeah, I have a weird sense of success, but
I totally.
But it's also like
I vibe with that.
The purpose, I guess, right? Like OSR isn't designed to make money; it's designed to have fun. So
agreed.
Whether we make 1,000 new subs with it and we get, and we're making, a couple $100 a month off of just that Twitch stream, sure, I would call it successful. I would never say that wasn't successful. But like when I'm saying like what would be the pinnacle, like what would be the absolute holy fuck moment,
Right.
would be getting a letter from Marvel, one way or the
Yeah,
other,
yeah.
of just getting their attention, even if it's to, hey, you pissant, stop using our shit and making money. Even just that, I'd fucking frame that and be like, that was my cease and desist from Marvel. I made a game and they pissed him off so bad they sent me a letter. Like, that's the kind of person I am. I would frame that shit just to be like, I got their attention.
Hell yeah.
That's a sign of fucking success. All right, so from Foxer, I have a boss that's like the best boss ever in all of D&D. That's a very big claim.
Wild.
Something you would most definitely add onto both of your campaigns. That's also a very big claim.
Wild.
I'd like if you could see a one-page sheet that would make you both laugh of how terrible the quote-unquote boss is. I mean, you can always send it. If you're asking us to go over it tonight, we probably won't. But if you want to send that and have us do that.
Are we talking about like review status, or are we talking about like home brewing?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, if you want just like a knee-jerk reaction, you can always just post it in Discord. If you want us to do a full review of it, of course, do it in submissions. And if you want a workshop, if you want more of like an actual constructive workshop, but off stream, post it in the home brewing channel. Like that's basically it. If you just want us to look at it and give us a reaction, that can just go in community chat. Like we don't need a big old thing there. If you want more constructive feedback off stream, that's where home brewing's all about. But if you want it here on stream, and you want a full stream of it, yeah, just throw that in submissions. And otherwise, if not, if you want it on stream but not a big deal, Fridays are probably better to bring those kind of things up because that's when we have more time to tangent. So yeah, if you just want us to just do a live reaction of something, hit us up on a Friday. We wouldn't even catalog it as a submission because it's literally a joke.
Wild. We love it.
Well, yeah, if you want a live reaction on stream, save it for Friday. And if you want just a general reaction, just post it in Discord. That would be fine. But it's only just because it's getting late, and yeah, we should probably cut it here. It's already it's already 9:30. All right, but yeah, if you want a real reaction, I'll do that on Friday for sure. Oh, send it to Kage if he wants to check it out later. Okay.
Fire.
We will give you a good knee-jerk reaction to that one in a little bit. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Thank you all so much for showing up and keeping us busy. Pokenunder, thanks for coming in and dropping some knowledge on us and some of your opinions. It's always great to hear from you. Nugget Soul, thank you so much for showing up. Hecate and Hoylepa as well.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
So yeah, I had a big crew here today.
Yeah, we were running it today. I loved it.
But yeah. So this Friday, what are we gonna do this Friday?
Were we getting back into some of our old
I have no
old habits?
I have no idea. Okay, so either we're gonna do the Echo Ranger, or we're gonna do some more OSR discussions, depending on how much I get done this week.
Okay, cool.
Or who knows? Maybe we'll do an IRL stream if we feel froggy. But otherwise, we'll probably do the Echo Archer, because I do want to finish up another sublet and subclass. So
nice.
Keep that in mind. Next week, what is next week's item? Is that Soul's item? Soul's Boss?
Yes.
Soul's Boss next Monday. So again, I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. I hope you have a great week ahead of you. We will be back on Friday, y'all. Cheers.
Deuces, my friends.